Chapter 679. That was strange. Was it a coincidence? Lin Yen, who was doubtful, plucked up her courage and picked up some bamboo shoots and meat. She remembered that this was the most unforgettable dish that Pei Yuqing had ever made. That woman couldn't possibly make all the dishes so terrible, right? However, when the taste of the bamboo shoots and meat spread in her mouth and tongue, Lin Yan's soul suffered another devastating blow. Lin Yan was speechless. She had tried so hard and tried to avoid it. She had tried so hard to persuade Pei Yuqing to cook less and eat less of his dishes. Who would have thought that she would end up cooking a table full of food for herself today? Lin Yan tried a few other dishes and realized that they tasted terrible. The strangest thing was that the taste of these dishes was so similar to Pei Yuqing's cooking. They tasted terrible. She couldn't figure it out. It was as though Pei Yuqing had transmigrated into her body and cooked this meal. Lin Yan bit her chopsticks and glanced at Pei Yuqing. "Mr. Pei, what's wrong?" Pei Yuqing glanced at the girl. "No, nothing." Lin Yan waved her hands frantically. Was she thinking too much? "Nothing. I just want to learn how to cook from you, Mr. Pei. May I know who taught you? You can't taste anything but you can still cook so well. That's why I want to learn from you." Lin Yan pretended to ask casually. "I learned a recipe. I can teach you when I'm free," replied Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan fell silent after hearing Pei Yuqing's answer. If she had cooked according to a recipe, it would be normal for the dishes to taste the same. However, how could there be such a dark recipe? Which chef had created it? Was he still alive? Lin Yan had many questions, but she couldn't ask him directly. She couldn't possibly say that she was schizophrenic, had seen a ghost, or had been possessed by a monster. That was why she had cooked the dishes that tasted as terrible as Pei Yuqing's, right? Besides, everyone had hidden the fact that Pei Yuqing's dishes tasted terrible because they were afraid that he would be upset. In the end, Lin Yan could only suppress her doubts. She was shocked when she suddenly discovered that her body was being controlled by another consciousness. However, after the initial shock and fear, she had already become numb. Ever since she was kidnapped when she was young, her body began to show many changes that were different from those of ordinary people. These changes could not be detected with the current level of medical science. But now she was really curious. This consciousness that controlled her body from time to time. If it wasn't schizophrenia, what was it? There were many stories about transmigration and possession in novels. There was also a scientific theory that a person's brain waves could attach to another person's body and even control the other person's body. So, is there such a possibility? If she wasn't schizophrenic, could the consciousness in her body belong to another person? This person might have come from another dimension. This person might even be someone who existed in the same spacetime as her. The more Lin Yan thought about it, the more she felt that it was possible. If that was the case, then who was this consciousness? Could she be Pei Yuqing's admirer? For the rest of my life, I Have You, Sweet and Warm will continue to be updated on the mobile game bar. There will be no advertisements on the website, so please bookmark and recommend the mobile game bar. For the rest of my life, I'm with you, sweet and warm, please bookmark. For the rest of my life, I'm with you, sweet and warm. Chapter 680. She was Pei Yuqing's admirer, so she knew Pei Yuqing very well. She knew that Pei Yuqing had been hospitalized, so she could enter Pei Yuqing's villa freely. She also knew Pei Yuqing's preferences and even cooked the same dishes as Pei Yuqing's. The more Lin Yan thought about it, the more she felt that it was possible. However, she hadn't noticed such a person around Pei Yuqing during this period of time. Besides, if she really had such an admirer, she could have pursued him herself. Why would she possess her body and help her woo Pei Yuqing? Was that person stupid? Wouldn't she be helping someone else instead? Or, was there some other reason? She couldn't get what she wanted in real life, so she could possess her body and use it to be with Pei Yuqing? There was another more frightening possibility. The other party might possess her occasionally, but what if she managed to take over her body in the future? Lin Yan felt a chill run down her spine at the thought. However, from the looks of it, it seemed unlikely. The frequency of the other party possessing her body was not high. Moreover, she vaguely remembered that in the afternoon, when the other party swiped her card to pay the bill, she forcefully regained control of her body for a few seconds. This meant that when the other party possessed her, it was not completely impossible to regain control of her body. By the time they were done, Lin Yan's mind was filled with all sorts of scenarios. No matter what, Pei Yuqing's birthday had passed without any mishaps. "I'm very happy today." "Thank you," said Pei Yuqing. "You're welcome. This is my first time celebrating someone's birthday, so I don't know what to do. As long as you're happy, Mr. Pei, I will prepare a better birthday present for you next time," Lin Yan said flatteringly. Pei Yuqing gazed at the girl before him and said slowly, "Miss Lin, do you know what a better birthday present is?" Lin Yan pondered for a moment. "Is it more expensive?" She had asked the same question before, but she hadn't gotten an answer. Later on, she had pondered it and concluded that a better present would definitely be more expensive. At the thought of this, Lin Yan couldn't help but complain. "Someone told me that the most basic way is to buy a gift. The more advanced way is to prepare a gift personally. There are even more advanced ways that don't require spending money or doing anything. I didn't think it was reliable. How could there be a cheap and convenient gift? A gift that doesn't cost you any money or effort? How insincere." Pei Yuqing cast a meaningful glance at the girl. "There is indeed such a gift." "What is it?" asked Lin Yan curiously. Pei Yuqing stretched out his hand and stroked the girl's hair gently. His cold voice echoed in the quiet living room. "The best gift is yourself." Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan froze on the spot. A few seconds later, the little deer in his heart started racing again. The best gift was herself? Could it be what she thought it meant? She had always maintained a pure and innocent attitude toward Pei Yuqing. She hadn't harbored any disrespectful thoughts. Chapter 681. Pei Yuqing's birthday party had been a heart-wrenching one. It had left a deep impression on Lin Yan. Lin Yan had spent more than half of the money she had saved up. Her heart ached so much that she hadn't been able to sleep well. One day, as usual, Lin Yan leaned against the couch and scrolled through her phone. The orange kitten, Prosperous, had gotten used to its new environment and was dozing off comfortably beside Lin Yan's legs. Ever since the competition had ended, the netizens' comments about her had changed. Lin Yan wasn't used to it. In the past, there would be one or two people who would stand out and speak up for her. One of them would even be Lin Yan herself. However, there were at least 100 comments that were on Lin Yan's side. Not too long ago, she had posted on Weibo to congratulate her grandfather's team for achieving a good result in the competition. "I'm too handsome, so many romantic deaths typed. Shuya, I watched the livestream of the He family team. Your heartless sister must have discussed it with another team and fixed the competition. Otherwise, how could a junior team beat a top team? Shuya. Hurry up and think of a way to chase Lin Yan out of the He family team. The He family team will be promoted to a top team soon. Shuya, you have to take over the He family team. Otherwise, Lin Yan will stir up trouble. Only Shuya is fit to take over the He family team. You're the wind and I'm a fool typed, F***CK. Without Lin Yan, the He family team would have been eliminated a long time ago. Can't you think for yourself and be rational?" On the toilet paper in the toilet bowl replied, "So what? Even without Lin Yan, Shuya would still be able to make the He family team a top team. It's only a matter of time. What right does Lin Yan have to stay in a team like the He family team? In terms of character, Shuya can't beat her in a second. In terms of acting, she can't beat her in a second. In terms of racing skills, she can beat her in a second. I'd rather dote on you than on a dog." Everyone knows what kind of person Lin Yan is. Needless to say, she snatched the role that her own sister fought for. Yeva should have been Shuya's. Is Lin Yan worthy? Lin Yan read the comments on Lin Shuya's Weibo page with relish. She was already used to these comments. Just as she was about to continue reading, her phone rang. It was Pei Yutong. "Hey Dad, something big has happened, something big has happened." Pei Yutong asked anxiously. Lin Yan frowned. "What happened? What happened? Where are you now?" "I'm at home," replied Pei Yutong. Lin Yan was speechless. "You're calling me at home? Can't I come over?" Lin Yan sounded helpless. "That's not important. Daddy, do you know that Lang Mang's Smuff has been scolded? The one who said that he was a fake Lang Mang has been scolded badly recently." Pei Yutong replied. Lin Yan pondered for a moment. She had some recollection of this name. However, it wasn't the fake Lang Mang. It was really Lang Mang's alternate account. "Daddy, he isn't fake. He's real," Pei Yutong exclaimed. "How did you know?" Lin Yan was curious. Only a few people who were familiar with Lang Mang knew about his alternate account. "Of course I know." Pei Yutong sounded confident. "Lang Mang's verified account has been exposed." The words were harsh and those who had scolded him were flamed. He even uploaded a screenshot of his conversation with Yeva. "For the rest of my life, I Have You, Sweet and Warm will continue to be updated on the forum. There will be no advertisements on the site, so please bookmark and recommend the forum. For the rest of my life I'm with you, Sweet and Warm, please bookmark. For the rest of my life I'm with you, Sweet and Warm." Chapter 682. Daddy, you're amazing. Do you know that you can act as Yeva? It's not because you're good at acting or you're good. It's because Yeva personally appointed you. Lin Yin cursed silently. Other than being appointed by Yeva, she was also good at acting. Was there anyone else in this world who was more suitable than her to portray Yeva's professional life? Daddy, you're amazing. Pei Yutong sounded agitated. You were appointed by Yeva and you went against everyone's wishes. Daddy, tell me what's so good about you. What does Yeva see in you? What is she thinking? Lin Yin frowned. What did you say? Pei Yutong paused for a moment before he chuckled awkwardly. Daddy, what I meant was that Yeva has good taste. She's indeed a legend in the racing industry. Her taste is unique and unique. She was able to spot a genius like you. Lin Yin was speechless. His flattery was too obvious. Daddy, tell me the truth. Do you know Yeva? Pei Yutong sounded doubtful. No, I don't, replied Lin Yin. Lin Yin didn't give Pei Yutong a chance to retort. She hung up. Lin Yin opened her phone again. As expected, an explosive topic appeared on the trending page. Lang Mang appears and strikes back furiously. He subverts everything you know. Is it that explosive? Lin Yin was curious. In this world, Lin Yin was one of the people who understood Lang Mang the best. He couldn't stand being wronged or wronged, so he had a fiery temper. When he started scolding people, he would be even scarier than 3 consecutive times. After she clicked on the topic, she saw a series of screenshots. Lang Mang's official account had indeed appeared. In your name, Python had typed, I will f***ckub** cheese. I will f***ckub** cheese to death. Your entire family will f***ck me this year. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched when she saw the first screenshot. Great, he must have been too infuriated, so he had been censored. Look at this. What a troll was. This was a f***king troll. Indeed, she had been right. This disciple of hers had slipped through the net. Lin Yin scrolled to the second screenshot. Lang Mang seemed to know that he would be silenced if he went too far, so he was more tactful this time. In your name, Python, f***ck you bunch of dog *t. What did I do to provoke you? Thousands of troops came to my private account and scolded me. I'll tell you. That's my account and the message was sent by me. Besides, I don't know that actress from China. I've never even seen her before. She was handpicked by my master. If you're unhappy with the actress, go and scold my master. Why are you scolding me? Are you f***king idiots? Bullying the weak and fearing the strong? Do you think I'm gentle, kind, fresh, refined, approachable and easy to get along with? You're wrong. I'm a f***king poisonous snake, f***ck off. Below is a screenshot of my chat with my master. If you don't believe me, take a look yourself. If you have the guts, go and scold my master. What kind of man are you if you catch me and scold me? Pui. Trash. Go to hell. Don't let me find out who you are. Recently, my car's brakes and steering system aren't good. f***ck. Lin Yin almost burst out laughing when she read Lang Mang's vicious words. Other trolls were just ruthless people, but Lang Mang was different. He was even more ruthless than ruthless people. He was a werewolf. Chapter 683. Even Lin Yin might not be able to withstand Lang Mang's verbal attacks, let alone an ordinary person. His mouth was simply too venomous. Lang Mang only had one characteristic when it came to insulting people. Every word he said could be filtered out by the system. He was the ancestor of all 3 schools of thought, and he was simply insulting people for the sake of it. There was absolutely no reason for him to do so. However, such trolls were the scariest. They wouldn't reason with you at all, and they didn't have any reason either. They would just troll you and ignore everything else. After this paragraph of unbearable insults, a screenshot was posted at the end. It was a screenshot of Lang Mang and Yeva's conversation. When they saw the screenshot, the comments section fell into a frenzy, especially when Yeva had said, I want to choose my female lead. After looking at the screenshot of the chat history, as long as one wasn't a fool and wasn't blind, they would be able to understand the meaning of the screenshot. In other words, Lin Yin hadn't competed with Lin Shuya for Yeva's role in Legend. The reason Lin Yin had been chosen by the production crew was because Yeva had personally gone online to communicate with the production crew. That was all. Now everyone was enlightened. No wonder Lin Shuya, who was so much better than Lin Yin, had ended up getting the role instead. Initially, everyone had misunderstood Lin Yin. Almost everyone had assumed that Lin Yin had used some underhanded means to snatch the role from Lin Shuya. Many people had asked Lin Shuya for confirmation, but Lin Shuya hadn't said a word. Based on Lin Shuya's character, if she hadn't said a word, it would have been proven that Lin Yin had used underhanded means to snatch the role. Today, when they saw Lang Mang's official account, they had been shocked. Lang Mang was a legend in the racing industry and Yeva's disciple. He wouldn't lie through his teeth. Besides, someone like Lang Mang wouldn't have any connections with small-time actors in the entertainment industry. He wouldn't have tried to clear Lin Yan's name. Besides, Lang Mang had used his official account to post a message on social media. There was also a record of Yeva's conversation with Lang Mang. There couldn't be any problems. Lang Mang's news was unbelievable to Lin Yan's haters. In fact, many people once again climbed over the walls to view Lang Mang's social media account and confirmed the authenticity of the article. Nightless replied, "That's why I'm saying that Lin Yan didn't steal Lin Shuya's role. Lin Shuya is the one who is causing trouble. Isn't she a hypocrite? Goddess Yeva was the one who chose Lin Yan, yet Lin Shuya is pretending to be the victim. How disgusting. Both of them had become pirates. Anyway, there's one thing we can be sure of. Lin Yan didn't do anything to snatch Lin Shuya's role. Think about it, the production crew isn't stupid. Lin Shuya's commercial value is incomparable to Lin Yan's. Besides, the role of Yeva had been given to Lin Shuya. Why had the production crew given the role to Lin Yan? Think about it carefully. If Yeva hadn't pressured Lin Yan to portray her, the production crew would never have given her the role. Chapter 684. He's your greatest hero. I've lived for a long time. The entertainment industry is too messy. Lin Yan has been slandered by the entire internet because of this incident, yet she hasn't come out to explain herself. What kind of actress is she? The road ahead was long and the clouds were too deep. When's return date? Actually, there are many suspicious points about this incident. However, Lin Yan is the kind of person who attracts criticism. When everyone saw that it was Lin Yan, they didn't think much of it. Of course, we don't know the truth, so we can't comment. Actually, I quite like Lin Yan. This post went viral and even Lin Shuya's account was implicated. Many netizens left comments on Lin Shuya's account to express their doubts. Some of them even started to hurl insults at Lin Shuya. Han Xiao typed, "Lin Shuya, you're too shameless." Although the role of Yeva was supposed to be yours, Yeva personally asked Lin Yan to play the role. Yet, you pushed the blame to Lin Yan and claimed that Lin Yan snatched the role from you. Why are you such a hypocrite? I didn't realize it in the past. Your White Tiger typed, "Lin Shuya, I was wrong about you." Your White Tiger replied, "Lin Shuya, I was wrong about you. I didn't expect you to be such a person. You keep saying that your sister is snatching things from you and acting as though you've been wronged. I think you're just pretending. I have to thank Lang Mang for his straightforward personality. Otherwise, everyone would have been fooled by you." The Big Dipper typed, "You're shameless. Your lying skills are better than your acting skills. Lin Shuya, why did you accuse Lin Yan of wronging her? What's your motive? Immeasurable heavenly venerate, you're in for a bloody calamity. I was wondering why the production crew was so blind to replace Lin Shuya for no reason. So it turns out that Yeva is the one who chose Lin Shuya. Lin Shuya, if you're despicable, the heavens will punish you. If you don't want people to know, don't do it. I hope you can repent and turn over a new leaf." "I'll eat watermelon and you'll eat us" typed, "You people are ridiculous. Did Shuya say that Lin Yan snatched the role from her? If there is, show us the evidence. Shuya must be in a bad mood because she lost her role. She hasn't spoken yet. What are you imagining? Everyone knows what kind of person Lin Yan is. Why would Shuya need to criticize her personally?" When Lin Shuya sensed that something was amiss, a large number of Internet Water Army joined the fray and reversed the situation. The Conqueror of Windcloud replied, "Lin Shuya didn't say anything about Lin Yan stealing her role. She didn't say anything." Lonely Old Wang typed, "You were the ones who scolded Lin Yan. You were the ones who said that Shuya's role had been stolen. Now you're the ones who are flaming Shuya. Shuya didn't say that Lin Yan had stolen her role. You keyboard warriors were the ones who did. Now that you've been slapped in the face, you want to push the blame to Lin Shuya? Do you have any shame?" With the appearance of a large number of fake reviewers and Shuya's fans, many of the doubtful voices were erased. Indeed, Lin Shuya had never claimed that Lin Yan had stolen the role of Yeva. She had merely chosen to remain silent at the right time, when many people had come to the comments section to seek confirmation. However, no one could tell if her silence was intentional or not. Lin Yan was lying comfortably on the couch as she watched the heated debate. Then she logged into her alternate account. Chapter 685. Lin Yan had expected Lin Shuya's fans and ghostwriters to attack her. Lin Shuya had chosen to remain silent, which had been a good choice. Given Lin Shuya's character, if she had remained silent, it would have been a silent admission. Everyone would have thought so. Even if things took a turn for the worse, Lin Shuya would still have a way out. She had never spoken or expressed her opinion. Hence, it was impossible for her to be the scapegoat. Lin Shuya's brilliance was to be able to attack and defend at the same time. No matter how the situation developed, it wouldn't matter to Lin Shuya. She would be the one in charge. The netizens who had calmed down were puzzled as they read the comments of the fans and ghostwriters. Indeed, Lin Shuya hadn't said anything or expressed her stance. They hadn't thought too much about the rumors that Lin Yan had snatched her role away from her because of the media. Now that they had scolded Lin Shuya, they realized that it wasn't appropriate. Even some passers-by couldn't stand it anymore and began to speak up for Lin Shuya. Lin Yan switched off her phone with a faint smile on her face. Her sister had a high status, so she wouldn't allow herself to be dragged into this mess. She wanted to send Pei Yutong a message, but the person in charge of the production crew called her. "Is this Miss Lin Yan?" Yes, it's me." Lin Yan perked up instantly. However, she was curious. There was still some time before the filming of Legend. Why would the person in charge call her now? Could it be because of the rumors about Lin Shuya? However, Lin Yan soon realized that she was overthinking. "Miss Lin Yan, I have something to discuss with you. I would like you to sing the theme song of the movie and a few other important songs." Lin Yan was dumbfounded when she heard the manager. What the hell? He wanted her to sing? Lin Yan frowned. Let me confirm something. Did you say that you want me to sing the theme song of Legend and a few other songs? Miss Lin Yan, that is indeed the case. Lin Yan was speechless. Had the production crew lost their minds? She was an actress, not a singer. She could act, but she couldn't sing. The number of times she had been to a KTV in her life could be counted on one hand. Of the few times she had been there, she had never sung. Lin Yan replied, "I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want to sing, but..." She really didn't know how to sing. She didn't even know that she was tone deaf. "Miss Lin Yan, for someone like me, the fees are different. Besides, we have a good song that we believe will be popular. Since you're acting as Yeva, the song will be played at the end of the movie. The effect will be the best and the fees will be high." Lin Yan leaped up from the couch. "How much?" Chapter 686. After confirming with the production crew, Lin Yan tugged at Pei Yutong's arm and asked him to drive her to the set. On the way back, Lin Yan sat in the passenger seat while Pei Yutong spoke to her. "Daddy, I didn't expect you to be so talented. Not only are you good at racing, but you are also good at acting. You can even sing." The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up. As long as the price was right, there was nothing she couldn't do. She could even cry at a funeral. "Oh yeah, I've never heard you sing before. Daddy, do you want to go out tonight? I'll treat you to a karaoke bar. You can show off your skills," Pei Yutong suggested. Lin Yan shook her head. "I'm not going." Pei Yutong was flabbergasted. Had he heard wrongly? How could Lin Yan resist the temptation of a treat? "Daddy, it's my treat," Pei Yutong explained to Lin Yan. "I'm not interested in singing." Lin Yan shrugged. Pei Yutong was taken aback by Lin Yan's reply. She wasn't interested in singing? Why had she accepted to sing the theme song for Legend? When they reached Cloud Manor, Lin Yan got out of the car. Pei Yutong's team had some matters to attend to, so he went to his own car. Lin Yan washed up after she returned to her room. She had been exhausted from the past few days, so she fell into a deep sleep the moment she laid on the bed. When Lin Yan opened her eyes again, it was already late at night. Lin Yan frowned slightly. She hadn't woken up naturally. She had been woken up by a noise outside. The sound was soft and she had no idea where it was coming from. Lin Yan pricked up her ears and listened for 2 minutes. Her expression changed slightly. It sounded like a baby's cry and it sounded extremely pitiful. Lin Yan's hair stood on end when she confirmed that it was a baby's cry. How could there be a baby's cry in Cloud Manor? In fact, it didn't even sound like an ordinary baby's cry. He felt that it was extremely strange and horrifying. Lin Yan was instantly reminded of a horror movie that she had watched recently. At first, Lin Yan thought that she had heard wrongly or that she was still groggy. But after he got up and washed his face, that horrifying sound did not disappear. Instead, it became more and more obvious. Lin Yan rose and tiptoed to the door. She scanned her surroundings but didn't see any babies. However, the cries didn't stop. It was as though they were lingering in her ears. "Don't scare me." Lin Yan felt a chill run down her spine. Although she was born with a lot of guts, who could withstand this? It was pitch black in Cloud Manor. Pei Yutong and the others shouldn't have returned yet. She even felt that the entire Cloud Manor was eerie and the sound of crying was still echoing. It was already 2 or 3 in the morning. In Cloud Manor, only the lights in the study room were still on. It was Pei Yuqing's study. The more Lin Yan thought about it, the more scared she became. She dashed to the study. She knocked on the door of the study. "Come in." Pei Yuqing's cold voice echoed from the study. The door was unlocked, so Lin Yan pushed it open and entered. In the study, Pei Yuqing, who was dressed casually and wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, was flipping through the documents in his hands. When he saw that it was Lin Yan, Pei Yuqing's eyes flickered with surprise. He hadn't expected Lin Yan to be awake at this hour. Chapter 687. When Pei Yuqing saw Lin Yan enter the study, he gently placed the document on the desk. Before Lin Yan could speak, Pei Yuqing said, "You didn't sleep. You woke up." A few hours ago, Pei Yuqing had sent Lin Yan a message, but she hadn't replied. If Lin Yan hadn't rested, it meant that she hadn't replied to his message on purpose. "I just woke up." Lin Yan rubbed her eyes as she replied to Pei Yuqing. Pei Yuqing's expression softened a little when he heard her. Pei Yuqing noticed that something was wrong with Lin Yan's expression. Did something happen? Under normal circumstances, Lin Yan wouldn't come to his study in the middle of the night. "Mr. Pei? Are there babies in Cloud Manor?" Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yuqing curiously. "Babies?" Pei Yuqing looked perplexed when he heard Lin Yan. How could there be babies in Cloud Manor? "No." Pei Yuqing stared at Lin Yan. "Come out for a while." Lin Yan stepped forward and grabbed Pei Yuqing's hand. Pei Yuqing didn't resist as he left the study with Lin Yan. It was late at night and the surroundings were pitch black. "Did you hear that?" Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yuqing as she asked softly. "What?" Pei Yuqing was puzzled. "A baby crying," replied Lin Yan. Pei Yuqing shook his head slightly. "No." Even Lin Yan hadn't heard it, let alone Pei Yuqing. "That's weird," Lin Yan muttered to herself. The baby's cries had indeed disappeared, as though it had never been there. "Do you want me to accompany you?" Pei Yuqing asked Lin Yan. "Accompany me for what?" Lin Yan asked instinctively. "Sleep?" Pei Yuqing replied expressionlessly. Lin Yan was speechless. Before Lin Yan could reply, the miserable wails reverberated once more. This time it became louder and louder. "Listen." Lin Yan replied hastily. Pei Yuqing frowned slightly. There was indeed a sound. Pei Yuqing didn't say anything as he followed the sound to the back door of Lin Yan's room. Lin Yan hurried after him. 10 seconds later, Pei Yuqing raised his arm and brushed aside a patch of green plants. Meow! The eyes of a thin and weak little white cat shone brightly in the dark night. The so-called crying sound of a baby was coming from this kitten's mouth. "This is the baby you were talking about." Pei Yuqing's eyes trailed to Lin Yan. Lin Yan looked awkward. Her illustrious name, it's so cute. Poor thing. Lin Yan's attention was drawn to the kitten. The kitten didn't avoid Lin Yan's gaze. Instead, it stared intently at her. Pei Yuqing's movements were gentle as he picked up the white cat. "Give it to me." Lin Yan extended her hand. "Yes." He passed the kitten to Lin Yan. "I realize that I'm really fated with these small animals, especially kittens. I picked one up before and now there's another one. This kitten is so pretty. I'll wash it and show it off on Weibo." Lin Yan hugged the white cat in her arms as she chattered incessantly. The white cat purred happily in Lin Yan's arms and rubbed its head against Lin Yan's arm. "She seems to like you a lot," Pei Yuqing quipped. Lin Yan grinned. Cats and dogs had loved her ever since she was a child. "Do you still need me to accompany you? Or do you want it to sleep with you?" Pei Yuqing asked. Lin Yan was speechless. She had just woken up, so she wasn't sleepy. Chapter 688. Lin Yan studied the white cat in her arms. Although it was a little dirty, it was still very good-looking. Lin Yan was surprised to realize that this was the most good-looking stray cat she had ever seen. "Isn't it good-looking?" Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yuqing. Pei Yuqing stared at Lin Yan in silence for a moment. Then, his eyes trailed to the stray cat in Lin Yan's arms. "Yeah, it looks like you." Lin Yan was speechless when she heard Pei Yuqing. Did she look like a cat? Even if she was compared to an animal, she definitely wouldn't be a cat. She should be a dog, a fierce dog that was extremely powerful. For example, a Tibetan Mastiff, a Caucasian Pit Bull Terrier, a German Shepherd. However, Lin Yan forgot about dogs in the blink of an eye. How could she look like a dog? How could she look like a dog? She should be a tiger. Who would say that they look like a dog? "I think I look more like a tiger than a cat," Lin Yan said softly as she glanced at Pei Yuqing. Pei Yuqing glanced at Lin Yan in surprise. "A tiger?" asked Pei Yuqing. "Yeah." Lin Yan nodded. "The king of all beasts. Don't I look like one?" A tigress? Pei Yuqing pressed on. Lin Yan was speechless. Did he know how to chat? Her surging emotions were instantly destroyed by Pei Yuqing's words. Was he trying to kill the conversation? What do I look like? Pei Yuqing asked Lin Yan. If I were to describe you as an animal? I think you look like a giant python, Lin Yan replied without hesitation. Giant python? Pei Yuqing seemed curious. Why? There were thousands of animals, but Lin Yan had compared him to a giant python. Actually, Lin Yan didn't know why, but the first thing that popped up in her mind was the image of a giant python. Pythons were terrifying. They were at the top of the food chain, and it seemed as though everything could become their prey. They hid in the dark with an irresistible evil charm. They could kill anything that they laid their eyes on. No matter how capable they were, they wouldn't be able to escape. It was like an apocalyptic disaster. This was the impression that Pei Yuqing had given Lin Yan. He was an evil, unruly, cold-blooded, and heartless python that lurked in the dark. Lin Yan believed that only an animal like a python could match his aura. Of course, she wouldn't tell him what she was thinking. She wouldn't want to live unless she had a death wish. Lin Yan's eyes darted around as she grinned at him. Of course it's a python. Think about it. A snake will turn into a python will turn into a dragon, and a dragon will turn into a dragon. I think that if I had to describe it, Mr. Pei would definitely be a dragon. It's a pity that there are no dragons in this world, so I have to settle for a python. Really? Pei Yuqing remained expressionless as he listened to Lin Yan. Yeah, of course. I mean it. Lin Yan nodded repeatedly. The stray cat in Lin Yan's arms suddenly leaped onto the ground and rubbed itself against Lin Yan's shoes. This cat, why does it look like a dog? Chapter 689. Little Million, come to mommy. Lin Yan took a few steps forward and waved at the adorable stray cat. The stray cat meowed softly at Lin Yan and I scurried over to her. Then I nuzzled against her shoes. Have you thought of a name? Asked Pei Yuqing. Yeah, I just got it. Lin Yan nodded. This name sounds more normal compared to prosperous. Is it called Little Million? Asked Pei Yuqing. Little Million is its nickname. Lin Yan grinned. What is its real name? Asked Pei Yuqing. 1,000 bags of money, replied Lin Yan. Pei Yuqing was speechless. Congratulations on getting rich and becoming filthy rich. After bidding Pei Yuqing farewell, Lin Yan returned to her room with 1,000 bags of money. 1,000 bags of money, this will be your home from now on. You won't have to wander around anymore. Lin Yan hugged the stray cat and grinned. The white cat meowed at Lin Yan cooperatively. Lin Yan didn't waste any time either. She brought the white cat to the bathroom. Lin Yan had been the one to clean congratulations and get rich on her own, so there were still plenty of bath products left for the cat. Half an hour later, Lin Yan cleaned the stray cat and used a hairdryer to blow-dry its fur. However, 1,000 bags of money seemed to be afraid of the hairdryer, so Lin Yan spent a lot of effort to dry it. It's so pretty, Lin Yan's eyes sparkled as she stared at 1,000 bags of money. This was not a stray cat but a breed cat. Furthermore, it was a ragdoll cat. Due to its high price, ragdolls were nicknamed the walking money. Lin Yan studied the ragdoll. It was in good condition, so it had to be at least of the bloodline grade. So, how did such a precious kitten become a stray cat? In the next few days, 1,000 coins would follow Lin Yan wherever she went. If he didn't see Lin Yan, 1,000 coins would continue to scream until Lin Yan appeared. Every time Lin Yan returned to her room, 1,000 bags of money would lie in front of the door and wait for her. Lin Yan had no choice but to place prosperous prosperity in her room. To Lin Yan's surprise, this gentle and obedient ragdoll was hostile to prosperous prosperity. In just a few hours, Lin Yan's room was covered in cat fur. What puzzled Lin Yan the most was that the orange kitten, Prosperous, was so powerful that it had managed to hang 1,000 bags of money up and beat him up. However, 1,000 bags of money wasn't willing to admit defeat. Even if it couldn't win, it would still disgust Lin Yan to death. Hence, even though they were fighting, 1,000 bags of money was the one getting beaten up. You're not a cat. You're clearly Brother Flattop. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched as she watched 1,000 coins sprawl on the table. She couldn't resist the temptation of being rich and handsome, so she had unknowingly taken a lot of photos and videos and uploaded them to Weibo. Looks like I'm really going to be rich. In a short period of time, prosperous happiness and 1,000 bags of money came to my door. The beauty of 2 stray cats. The eldest is a little orange cat. The second is a little doll. There were pictures of the orange kitten, Prosperous Prosperity, and the ragdoll, 1,000 bags of money. Chapter 690. After sending the message, Lin Yen kept scrolling through her phone, waiting for someone to compliment little Cece and little Wan Wan. Landlord's silly son, damn Xiao Shik is really something. Goddess, can you teach me some racing skills? Alright, why are they called Xiao Wan and Xiao Shi? Shouldn't they be called Fortune and Prosperity? This doesn't match your personality, goddess. That's a nice name. Lin Yen replied, the eldest is called Prosperous Fortune, and his nickname is Happy. The second is called 1,000 Bags of Money, and his nickname is 1,000,000. The landlord's silly son. I was wrong. Wait a minute, what the F*** CK goddess, you actually replied to me, an invisible person. Oh my god, am I dreaming? Will there be a love story between Cinderella and Prince Charming? I'm Cinderella and you're Prince Charming. Goddess, your reply is the crystallization of our love. No, it's the beginning. Lin Yen replied, please leave with a pile of fur. The landlord's foolish son, oh my god. Goddess, please allow me to introduce myself. In the beginning I was an anti-fan of yours. As time went by, I developed feelings for you. After watching your racing competition, I learned that Yeva had personally assigned you to play the role of Yeva. Goddess, you've been wrongly accused. I'm no longer a fan of Lin Shuya. I'll only be a fan of you. Goddess, if anyone dares to defame you in the future, I will let them know the terrifying explosive power of Lang Mang. Lin Yen was speechless. I'm Asian, why is my son black? This show is too obvious. The selection for the charity ambassador is just about to begin, and they're already adopting stray cats? What was he talking about? That was a doll and a doll was a stray cat? Why don't you meet a gorilla and adopt it? How disgusting. The evil dragon growled and meowed. It's normal for someone like Lin Yen to do this. I bet she doesn't know anything about kittens. Who is she trying to fool by treating a doll like a stray cat? She should go and understand the market before putting on a show. The landlord's foolish son, to the people above, I'll F***CKU big F***King F***CKU. Lin Yen, who couldn't be bothered with these trolls, closed her Weibo account. She didn't even know who the philanthropic ambassador was. However, Lin Yen found it strange as well. Could the ragdoll have an owner and have gone missing? Logically speaking, such a precious kitten shouldn't have become a stray cat under normal circumstances. Of course, if someone could provide proof that they were the owner of 1,000 coins, she wouldn't mind returning it to its owner. After all, anyone who lost their pet would be very anxious and blame themselves. Little Wan Wan, Lin Yen called out to him. 1,000 coins, who had been forced into a corner, leaped up when he heard Lin Yan's voice. He stepped on the orange kitten's head and sprinted to the table beside Lin Yen. Then he meowed at Lin Yen. Lin Yen left the room with 1,000 bags of money and strolled around Cloud Manor as though she was walking a dog. Lin Yen bumped into Xing Chen the moment she stepped out of the door. Lin Yen stumbled. Rich woman hid behind Lin Yen in fear. Miss Lin Yen? Is she all right? Xing Chen glanced at Lin Yen. I'm fine. Lin Yen shook her head. Yeah, Xing Chen didn't say anything else. He turned around and walked toward Pei Yuqing's study. Chapter 691. After Xing Chen left, the puppet leaped into Lin Yan's arms. Lin Yan stared at Xing Chen's back curiously. Xing Chen didn't seem to be in a good mood. Xing Chen couldn't be blaming her, could he? Lin Yan had promised Xing Chen that she would plead with Pei Yuqing on his friend's behalf. However, Pei Yuqing had been adamant, so she couldn't think of a better solution. 1,000 bags of money, come back. Suddenly, Prosperous and Prosperous ran out of the room. 1,000 bags of money seemed agitated when it saw Prosperous and broke free from Lin Yan's arms. It chased after Prosperous and Prosperous. The two kittens were nice and wouldn't run out of the manor. They could be walked without leashes. Lin Yan wasn't worried that 1,000 bags of money and Prosperous would run away. However, the two cats fought all the way to Pei Yuqing's study. Helpless, Lin Yan had no choice but to chase after them. She stopped them at the entrance of the study. Lin Yan hugged 1,000 bags of money and Prosperous in each hand. The two cats glared at each other in Lin Yan's arms and hissed threateningly. Lin Yan was about to leave when she heard the argument in the study. Xing Chen, that's enough. Brother Yu has his reasons for doing this. Ling Yu did something wrong, so she should be punished. Why are you so stubborn? Qin Huan's voice rang out. Is it still because of that girl? Lin Yan, who was hiding under the window, muttered under her breath. Ling Yu seemed to be close to Xing Chen. She should be one of Pei Yuqing's subordinates. However, she had no idea what she had done wrong or how she had been punished. Brother Yu. As long as Xiaoya comes back, I'm willing to do anything. Brother Yu, give Xiaoya a chance. Can you? In the room, Xing Chen's voice sounded very anxious. Pei Yuqing smirked coldly at Xing Chen. Who are you talking to? Pei Yuqing's voice rang out. Brother Yu, get lost, Pei Yuqing said coldly. Or do you want to be with her? Brother Yu, I got it. I'm sorry. Xing Chen lowered his head and left the study. Lin Yan couldn't bear to watch Xing Chen's desolate expression. No matter what, when they first came to Cloud Manor, Xing Chen had taken good care of her. It was a pity that Lin Yan couldn't be of much help to Xing Chen. Her abilities were limited. Actually, Lin Yan was rather curious about the girl named Ling Yu. What had she done to infuriate Pei Yuqing so much? Even if Lin Yan wanted to help Xing Chen, she had to get to the bottom of the matter first. She didn't know anything, so how could she mention this to Pei Yuqing? Lin Yan stood up and followed Xing Chen. She wanted to get to the bottom of this matter. After leaving the study, Lin Yan was about to call out to Xing Chen when his phone rang. Xing Chen glanced at the caller ID and his expression changed. Instinctively, Xing Chen surveyed his surroundings. However, he didn't see Lin Yan behind him. Not long after, Xing Chen walked to a remote corner of the villa and answered the phone. I hope that you know your place. Please don't harass me in the future. Xing Chen's expression was dark as he lowered his voice. Xing Chen, don't be so resistant. What have you gained from following Pei Yuqing all these years? You haven't forgotten about Ling Yu, have you? Chapter 692. Xing Chen's expression changed slightly as he said, What do you mean? You don't have to tell me this. Ling Yu made a huge mistake, so she deserved it. You don't have to sow discord between me and Brother Yu. I advise you not to do such useless things. Besides, Brother Yu's position isn't something that you can shake. Do you understand? Xing Chen, we actually thought that you were the smartest person around Pei Yuqing. It seems like we were wrong about you. What do you mean? Xing Chen frowned. You're right. We can't shake Pei Yuqing's position. But what if young Master Demon joined us? What did you say? Demon? Xing Chen's eyes glinted coldly. How about it? Are you interested now? As long as you agree to cooperate with us, we will naturally have a way to return Ling Yu to you. Furthermore, your position in the future will be even higher. I'm not joking with you. Xing Chen was speechless. After a moment of silence, he said coldly, Don't make me repeat myself. I will not betray Brother Yu. Ling Yu deserved it. I will listen to Brother Yu. As for the rest of you, regardless of whether you have Jun Tian's support, you'd better not provoke me again. Otherwise, you will bear the consequences. Xing Chen didn't give the person on the other end of the line a chance to speak. He hung up immediately. Xing Chen hung up the phone, looked around, and left without looking back. After Xing Chen left, Lin Yan, who had been hiding somewhere, walked out with Prosperous and family entourage in her arms. Lin Yan was dumbfounded. What had she just heard? Although she didn't know who Xing Chen was talking to or what the other end of the line had said, Lin Yan had heard every single word that Xing Chen had said. Based on Xing Chen's words, Lin Yan could roughly guess what had happened. Xing Chen had said that he wouldn't betray Pei Yuqing and that Ling Yu had only herself to blame for what she had done. Lin Yan wasn't dumb. She could guess what the person on the other end of the line was trying to say. If Lin Yan was right, Xing Chen should have been talking to Pei Yuqing's enemy. His enemy was trying to poach Xing Chen and make him leave Pei Yuqing or even betray Pei Yuqing. This bargaining chip had to be Ling Yu. Actually, Lin Yan wasn't aware of the relationship between Pei Yuqing and the Pei family. She didn't even know anything about it. However, judging from Xing Chen's conversation today, it wasn't as simple as she had thought. Furthermore, Xing Chen had mentioned a name earlier. When he mentioned that name, his expression started to change. Demon? Lin Yan muttered to herself. Lin Yan had no idea who Demon was. She had never heard of him before, but he should be related to Pei Yuqing. There was one thing that Lin Yan was certain of. Xing Chen hadn't discovered her presence. Besides, Xing Chen had said that he wouldn't betray Pei Yuqing, so he had to be sincere. If Xing Chen had discovered her presence, he wouldn't have answered the call. He would have hung up. However, human nature was not something that could be easily tested. Lin Yan believed that Xing Chen had no intention of betraying Pei Yuqing. However, what if the other party pestered him? He would still use Ling Yu as a bargaining chip. Chapter 693. Lin Yan had always believed that human nature was the most difficult thing in this world to endure. Furthermore, Ling Yu had been used as a bargaining chip. Even an outsider like Lin Yan could sense how important Ling Yu was to Xing Chen. Perhaps Xing Chen would be able to resist the temptation once or twice, but what if it happened 3, 5, 10, or even 100 times? Because of Ling Yu, Xing Chen had angered Pei Yuqing more than once. This showed how important Ling Yu was to Xing Chen. Of course, Lin Yan admired Xing Chen very much. If someone had threatened her with someone important to her, Perhaps she would have betrayed them and changed her boss. What's the big deal? For example, if someone had used Pei Yuqing's safety to threaten her and asked her to betray the boss of her gaming company, she would have betrayed him instantly. Lin Yin felt a headache coming on. She had accidentally heard Xing Chen's call. Could she pretend that she hadn't heard anything? Actually, Lin Yin felt that it would be the best choice for her to pretend that nothing had happened. Besides, Xing Chen hadn't said that he would betray Pei Yuqing. On the other hand, as his girlfriend, she felt that she should tell Pei Yuqing everything. No matter what, she had to let Pei Yuqing be mentally prepared. However, if Pei Yuqing found out and punished Xing Chen, Lin Yin was caught between a rock and a hard place. Perhaps she should first figure out the ins and outs of the matter before making a decision. Lin Yin called Pei Yutong. What? Pei Yutong's voice came through the phone. Are you home? Asked Lin Yin. Yeah, I'm watching a racing video. What's wrong? Lin Yin hung up the phone when she heard that Pei Yutong was home. She went to his room. Daddy, why are you in such a hurry? Did something big happen? Pei Yutong stared at Lin Yin curiously. Can't I talk to you if there's nothing important? Asked Lin Yin. Pei Yutong was startled for a moment before he nodded. Yes, of course you can. I was just about to look for you. Daddy, do you want to change teams? Why don't you join Storm? I'm not interested in your team, replied Lin Yin softly. Don't do that, Daddy. I'll give you a very, very high salary. Pei Yutong said anxiously. Lin Yin scratched her nose. How much did it cost? I don't have much money right now. The team's expenses are huge and I haven't invested in any sponsors yet. That's all right though. I can give you shares or an IOU. Pei Yutong hurriedly chimed in. Lin Yin was speechless. Although Lin Yin was interested in the money, she wasn't interested in the promissory note or the shares. Why would she want the shares of Storm? It might even be a money-losing deal. She didn't want it. Let me ask you something. Lin Yin eyed him intently. Do you know Demon? Demon? Pei Yutong fell silent as he listened to Lin Yin. Then he raised his head and stared at Lin Yin. I don't know him. Before Lin Yin could reply, Pei Yutong added, I think I've heard it somewhere before, but I can't remember where. I don't have any special impression of it. Okay. Lin Yin nodded. Goodbye. When Lin Yin turned to leave, Pei Yutong said anxiously, Daddy, didn't you come here to chat? Let's talk about the team. Chapter 694. Lin Yin had wanted to get some useful information from Pei Yutong, but he didn't seem to know anything at all. It wasn't appropriate for Lin Yin to ask someone else about such a sensitive matter. Otherwise, if Pei Yuqing or Xing Chen overheard it, it would cause a misunderstanding. Lin Yin had coincidentally overheard Xing Chen's call. She thought about it carefully and decided that she couldn't tell Pei Yuqing directly. Besides, it wasn't appropriate for her to talk to Xing Chen about this matter. Lin Yin racked her brains and finally found a reliable solution. Not only could it remove Pei Yuqing's worries, but it could also help Xing Chen untie the knot in his heart and stop him from being led by the nose. The content of the call had been clear. The other party had to be using Ling Yu as a bargaining chip to persuade Xing Chen. However, if Pei Yuqing let Ling Yu off, the other party would lose this bargaining chip. Of course, Lin Yin wasn't sure what the exact situation would be. For example, she didn't know if the other party had any other bargaining chips other than Ling Yu. At the very least, this was what she could do now. Lin Yin trusted Xing Chen. Otherwise, Xing Chen wouldn't have behaved that way earlier. She could tell that Xing Chen was indeed loyal to Pei Yuqing. Lin Yin placed the orange kitten and the rag doll back in her room and sent a text to Pei Yuqing. Are you busy? Do you have time? However, Lin Yin didn't receive a reply from Pei Yuqing. Lin Yin walked to Pei Yuqing's study and knocked on the door. There seemed to be no response. The door wasn't locked, so Lin Yin gently pushed it open. Lin Yin saw Pei Yuqing leaning against the chair, as though he had fallen asleep. Lin Yin walked to Pei Yuqing's side and peered at him. She had to admit that when Pei Yuqing was asleep, that suffocating sense of fear had dissipated significantly. From Lin Yan's angle, Pei Yuqing's face was indeed devastatingly good-looking. Lin Yan was even more certain that Pei Yuqing was the most charming when he was asleep. When he was awake, he was like the king of hell. She didn't think much of it. She grabbed a blanket and gently covered him with it. Before she could cover him with the blanket, Pei Yuqing, who had been sound asleep, suddenly opened his bloodshot eyes. A terrifying aura emanated from him as he grabbed Lin Yan's wrist. Lin Yan stood rooted to the ground, caught off guard. She hadn't expected that Pei Yuqing would wake up all of a sudden. It was too scary. Who allowed you to come in? Pei Yuqing's voice was bone-chilling as though it came from his bones. Lin Yin stared at him, his eyes bloodshot. She didn't know what to say. Before Lin Yen could respond, he tugged at her gently with his right hand. Lin Yen stumbled and lost her balance. She fell into his arms. "Mr. Pei, are you all right?" asked Lin Yen with a frown. Pei Yuqing hugged Lin Yen and gazed at her. His face was expressionless as he replied, "I had a dream." Lin Yen was startled. "What dream? What did you dream about?" "You," replied Pei Yuqing calmly. Lin Yen was speechless. "What the hell? You interrupted my dream. Don't you need to make up for it?" Pei Yuqing pressed on. Lin Yen was about to speak when the man pressed his lips against hers. Lin Yen could even feel the heat radiating from him. Lin Yan's mind went blank. Chapter 695. After a long time, Lin Yen snapped back to her senses. She felt a little dizzy. "Mr. Pei, hold on. I came to discuss something with you." Lin Yen glanced at Pei Yuqing as she spoke softly. Pei Yuqing let go of Lin Yen and replied, "It's Pei Yutong and his team." Lin Yen shook her head. Who had the time to care about Pei Yutong and his team? "Mr. Pei, it's Xing Chen," Lin Yen said tentatively. Pei Yuqing's eyes didn't waver when he heard Lin Yen. It was as though he wasn't surprised by what Lin Yen had said. "Brother Yu." Before Lin Yen could respond, Xing Chen's voice rang out. "Come in," Pei Yuqing replied. A second later, Xing Chen led a group of young men and women into the study. The young men and women led by Xing Chen were all overbearing, and their eyes were filled with visible arrogance. Lin Yen had never seen these people before. "Brother Yu, we're here." The young man chuckled softly at Pei Yuqing. "Brother Yu, long time no see," another man said. Pei Yuqing's eyes darted to the people around him without saying a word. "Brother Yu, Miss Rong asked us to come. She is very worried about you and misses you. She even told us to tell you that if you don't go to see her, she will come and look for you," the young man told Pei Yuqing. Lin Yen frowned when she heard him. "Miss Rong, who were these people? Who were they?" Demon had already confused her, and now there was Ms. Rong. Besides, judging from their tone, Miss Rong and Pei Yuqing seemed to be very familiar with each other. Their relationship seemed unusual. "Hold on, brother Yu. Who is this?" A girl in a red dress glanced at Lin Yen with a cold glint in her eyes. Why was this woman so close to Pei Yuqing? "Sister Su Yao, she is brother Yu's girlfriend," Xing Chen, who had been silent for a long time, said. "Girlfriend?" Hearing Xing Chen's words, the girl that Xing Chen called Su Yao was immediately stunned. Su Yao's eyes met Lin Yan's. Lin Yan could sense the contempt and mockery in the girl's eyes. "I see." However, Su Yao did not say much and only nodded with a smile. Lin Yan frowned discreetly. What was wrong with these people? This girl wasn't the only one. All the other young men and women who had followed Xing Chen scoffed when they heard that she was Pei Yuqing's girlfriend. They didn't show their mockery, but they did when they looked at Lin Yan. Xing Chen whipped out his phone and sent Lin Yan a text message. He gestured for her to read it. Lin Yan whipped out her phone to read Xing Chen's message. Xing Chen couldn't explain himself to Lin Yan in front of these people, so he could only remind her discreetly. The lollipop lover replied, "Miss Lin, these people are Miss Rong's confidants. Miss Rong and brother Yu grew up together and have a close relationship. Their relationship is complicated and it's hard to explain. They don't really care about you. Miss Lin, you don't have to bother about them." Chapter 696. After reading Xing Chen's message, Lin Yan was about to reply when Xing Chen sent another one. "Miss Lin, there are some things that are hard to explain. Also, the Pei family is really complicated. Sometimes, even brother Yu finds it hard to extricate himself from the Pei family. Miss Rong is a very important person. If these people make you feel aggrieved, please tolerate it if you can. This doesn't just involve brother Yu. Brother Yu's father is involved as well." Lin Yan was speechless. In the past, Lin Yan hadn't thought that much about the Pei family or Pei Yuqing. However, judging from these people and the message that Xing Chen had sent her, perhaps what she had thought before was completely wrong. Perhaps, just as Xing Chen had said, the Pei family was an unfathomable quagmire. Perhaps even someone like Pei Yuqing couldn't extricate himself from it easily. In that case, did the mysterious man that Xing Chen had mentioned have anything to do with the Pei family? However, what surprised Lin Yan the most was the meaning behind Xing Chen's message. It seemed like even Pei Yuqing had to give Miss Rong some face. Besides, Pei Yuqing and Pei Yutong's fathers seemed to be in this quagmire as well. "Oh yeah, brother Yu. Miss Rong asked me to ask you if Ling Yu is still suffering." The young man glanced at Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan furrowed her eyebrows when she heard the man. "Ling Yu? Was she related to Miss Rong?" "She will bear the consequences of her own mistakes," Pei Yuqing replied softly. Brother Yu, I didn't mean anything by it. Miss Rong asked me to ask you. After all, that B*TCH should die a horrible death for talking back to Miss Rong. Of course, that B*TCH talked back to Miss Rong, which meant that she was talking back to you, Brother Yu. Su Yao chuckled softly as she spoke. Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan had received so many messages that her brain was about to short-circuit. Hence, the girl named Ling Yu hadn't been punished because she had offended Pei Yuqing or made a huge mistake. She had merely offended Miss Rong. Lin Yan was very curious about Miss Rong's background. What kind of power did she have to make Pei Yuqing go this far? Of course, that wasn't the main point. The main point was the relationship between Miss Rong and Pei Yuqing. Pei Yuqing drummed his fingers on the desk. Before he could speak, Xing Chen interjected. Brother Yu? I know that Xiaoya was wrong to talk back to Miss Rong. Xiaoya is a straightforward person, but she doesn't have any bad intentions. Besides, she has already received a lot of punishment. Brother Yu, that's enough. Following Xing Chen's words, the study room instantly fell silent. Lin Yan stared at Xing Chen in confusion. Did water get into Xing Chen's brain? Even if she wanted to say something like that, she had to wait until she had spoken to Pei Yuqing in private. Everyone said that one would be confused if one cared too much. Xing Chen had sent her a message earlier to remind her. However, at the mention of Ling Yu, Xing Chen was dumbfounded. Chapter 697. Even she knew that Ling Yu had been punished severely because she had offended Miss Rong. These young men and women seemed to be related to Miss Rong. It would be best for Xing Chen to remain silent. However, he couldn't control himself. Lin Yan sighed to herself. All she could do now was pray for Xing Chen. Pei Yuqing glanced at Xing Chen coldly. Xing Chen, who do you think you are talking to? Suddenly, the girl named Su Yao glared at Xing Chen coldly. You want Brother Yu to forgive that B*TCH? Are you joking? That B*TCH offended Miss Rong. Brother Yu and Miss Rong are being kind by not chasing her out of the Pei family and Brother Yu's side. How dare you plead for her? Do you have any respect for Miss Rong? As soon as Su Yao finished speaking, a vein popped up on Xing Chen's forehead, and a frightening cold light flashed in his eyes. Her name is Ling Yu? Not B*TCH. Xing Chen clenched his fists as though he was trying hard to suppress his anger. Oh really? Unfortunately, she is just a brainless B*TCH who doesn't know her place. Su Yao sneered coldly, completely ignoring Xing Chen's anger. Xing Chen, if that B*TCH isn't convinced, you can ask her to leave the Pei family and Brother Yu. She can fly as far as she wants. If you can't bear to leave, you can leave with her. The leader of the group grinned. Xing Chen clenched his teeth. Indeed, he had tried to persuade Ling Yu to leave, but Ling Yu would rather die than agree. Ling Yu's parents had passed away when she was young. She had been adopted by the Pei family and had been with Pei Yuqing for many years. If Ling Yu was allowed to leave, she would rather die. Even though Ling Yu had been reduced to such a state, she had endured it and refused to leave. Xing Chen, that B*TCH offended Miss Rong. Miss Rong is being merciful by merely punishing her. If that B*TCH wasn't Brother Yu's woman, she would have suffered 1,000 times more, Su Yao said softly. I'll say it again. Her name is Ling Yu, not B*TCH. Xing Chen lowered his voice. Lin Yan could see that Xing Chen's body was quivering, as though he had reached his limit. Lin Yan believed that the girl named Ling Yu must be very important to Xing Chen. She was so important that this boy would give up everything for her. In the past, Xing Chen might have been able to stop the others from using Ling Yu as a bargaining chip and refuse to betray Pei Yuqing. However, now that these people had stirred things up, he might not be able to do so. Brother Yu, Xing Chen is considered an old man in the Pei family, but look at what he's doing. Is that how an old man should behave? If Miss Rong finds out, I'm afraid Xing Chen won't have a good ending, Su Yao said to Pei Yuqing. Don't add fuel to the fire. I didn't mean to be disrespectful to Miss Rong, Xing Chen hurriedly said. Then what do you mean? Just for that bitch? Su Yao sneered. Xing Chen, you're really an infatuated type. However, let me tell you a secret. I heard that B*TCH went around seducing other men. Alright, she even seduced him before. Su Yao pointed at the young man beside her. Lin Yan couldn't help but worry for Xing Chen. These people were clearly trying to provoke him. Chapter 698. Given Lin Yan's current situation, there was nothing she could do. Xing Chen was so enraged that he hadn't noticed Lin Yan's text message. Right now, Xing Chen was completely led by the nose by this woman called Su Yao. Under normal circumstances, Xing Chen was a calm and intelligent person. Unfortunately, when it came to Ling Yu, his brain was gone. Xing Chen Su Yao is right. That B*TCH tried to seduce me before. Of course, I'm also a man, so I didn't reject her. Then, are you sure I want to continue? Of course, if you don't mind. The young man looked at Xing Chen and laughed softly. You have a death wish? As the man's voice fell, Xing Chen could no longer stand it. His beast-like aura instantly exploded, and his fist turned into a claw, immediately hooking towards the man's neck. Suddenly Lin Yan, who had been silent all this while, stepped forward and grabbed Xing Chen's arm. The young men and women's eyes instantly landed on Lin Yan, who they had almost forgotten. Miss Lin? Xing Chen stared at Lin Yan in surprise. Lin Yan's face was as cold as ice. However, she quickly composed herself and smiled. Xing Chen, you're too enthusiastic. Even if you want to spar, you have to wait until you're free. Spar? Lady, he doesn't look like he's going to spar with anyone. I think he wants to fight to the death. Su Yao glanced at Lin Yan. Lin Yan glanced at Su Yao. That's strange. Xing Chen has no feud with any of you. No one provoked him or provoked him intentionally. Why would he risk his life to fight with others? You? Su Yao glanced at Lin Yan with a frown. She had underestimated this woman. Miss Lin, I will bear the consequences myself. You don't have to worry about me. They insulted my good friend and I can't tolerate it. Xing Chen was still on the verge of exploding. Lin Yan couldn't help but sigh inwardly. What an emotional fool. Lin Yan could sense that Xing Chen was on the verge of losing control. If she tried to stop him, wouldn't he beat her up as well? Besides, Lin Yan knew that there was no way to salvage the situation. If there was no progress on Ling Yu's matter, there would only be two consequences. The first was that Xing Chen would start fighting here. With Miss Rong suppressing him from above, Xing Chen wouldn't have a good ending. The second possibility was that Xing Chen would betray Pei Yuqing. He would. Although her rationality told her that she should just sit back and pretend that nothing had happened, it was really difficult for her to do that. After all, Xing Chen had taken good care of her and had never treated her like an outsider. Lin Yan glared at Xing Chen. Is there something wrong with your brain? What's the rush? Have you forgotten what I promised you? Am I not here to fulfill my promise? Lin Yan had really been forced to do something beyond her ability. She had no choice but to thicken her skin. Xing Chen glared at Lin Yan, his eyes filled with anger and surprise. He had no choice but to rely on Lin Yan as a life-saving straw. However, he knew that Lin Yan didn't owe him anything, so she wouldn't help him. Lin Yan didn't give Xing Chen a chance to mull over this. She let go of him and strode over to Pei Yuqing. Ahem. What's up? I would like to ask if you could do me a favor. Chapter 699. Give her some face on Weibo? Everyone turned to look at Lin Yan. Pei Yuqing's eyes trailed to Lin Yan as he asked softly, What do you mean? Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she said, Mr. Pei, can you forgive Ling Yu? Xing Chen, who was standing next to her, looked startled and incredulous. Xing Chen had asked Lin Yan to plead for mercy on his behalf. However, he had never imagined that Lin Yan would actually plead for mercy on Ling Yu's behalf, especially under such circumstances. Did I hear you correctly? Su Yao glanced at Lin Yan, not bothering to hide her disdain. Lady, aren't you being too nosy? You don't know much about relationships. I think you shouldn't plead on behalf of others. Although she didn't think much of this woman, Xing Chen had said that she was Pei Yuqing's girlfriend. Regardless of whether it was for fun or not, she was still his girlfriend. Hence, Su Yao didn't go overboard on account of Pei Yuqing. However, Su Yao had made it clear that Lin Yan shouldn't be a busybody. Lady, do you have some misunderstanding about your status? The young man glanced at Lin Yan and chuckled softly. He wasn't as direct as Su Yao. Su Yao added, Whether you are Brother Yu's girlfriend or not, even if you are, you have no right to interfere in our work. Lin Yan ignored them. She was pleading with Pei Yuqing, so she didn't need to care about anything else. Lin Yan was merely giving it a try. This was the only thing she could do for Xing Chen right now. Reason. Pei Yuqing glanced at Lin Yan unhurriedly. Reason? Lin Yan was startled when she heard that. She was really stumped. Brother Yu, don't blame Miss Lin. I was the one who pestered her and forced her to plead for mercy for me. That's why Lin Yan intervened. Xing Chen hurriedly explained when he realized that he might implicate Lin Yan. Pei Yuqing remained silent as he studied Lin Yan. Lin Yan's eyes darted to the girl named Su Yao, who was staring at her with a mocking expression. She was merely a clown in front of the noble Miss Rong. She glanced at Su Yao with a faint smile before she turned to Pei Yuqing. The reason is that, as the future Mrs. Pei, I believe that I should have some say in such a small matter, right? Pei Yuqing's face darkened as he said softly, the reason is that, as the future Mrs. Pei, I believe that I have some say in such a small matter. Xingqian, Su Yao. The future Madame Pei? She was just a dispensable female companion. Who gave her the courage to say such words? Everyone watched in astonishment as Pei Yuqing's eyes rippled. He chuckled softly and met the girl's bright eyes. Yeah, that's a good reason. Xingqian, Su Yao and the others. Lin Yan was speechless. For a moment Lin Yan couldn't snap back to her senses. She had only said those words in a moment of anger. She hadn't expected Pei Yuqing to say that the reason was sufficient. Chapter 700. Sure, I promise you, Pei Yuqing added. Lin Yan was speechless. It was settled just like that? Had she heard wrongly? Or was she dreaming? Lin Yan had initially thought that this was a hellish challenge. Who would have thought that it would be a challenge of lip service? She had merely said a few words, and it had been settled? Lin Yan was stunned. Xingqian, who had been worried that Lin Yan would be harmed, was dumbfounded as well. Xiaoya was fine? She was fine just like that? Brother Yu. The young man frowned. Brother Yu, Miss Rong doesn't like that *tch Ling Yu. How could you? However, before the leading young man could finish his words, a voice suddenly rang out. There was a loud bang. Lin Yan and Xingqian jumped in fright. Both Lin Yan and Xingqian looked astonished. The young man's head had slammed against the table. Pei Yuqing, who had been as gentle as a spring breeze, had pressed his left hand against the young man's head. His movement seemed casual, but no matter how the young man struggled, Pei Yuqing's hand was like a mountain that couldn't be moved. Brother Yu, the current situation caused the expressions of Su Yao and the others to change. Before they could say anything else, Pei Yuqing's cold gaze swept across them. In just an instant, Su Yao and the others didn't dare to speak another word. Brother Yu. The young man, whose head had been pressed against the desk by Pei Yuqing, was perspiring profusely. He couldn't understand why Pei Yuqing was so angry and why he had attacked him. Do you want to know? Pei Yuqing's voice was as cold as ice, sending chills down one's spine. Brother Yu, I don't understand. The young man gritted his teeth. Pei Yuqing glanced at the young man. Ling Yu and Xingqian are my subordinates. Pei Yuqing replied calmly, no matter how inappropriate they have no right to be insulted. The young man shuddered and hurriedly said, Brother Yu, I understand. We didn't think this through, also. Pei Yuqing glanced at Lin Yan. Miss Lin, what you said just now? His eyes trailed to Su Yao. Did you hear me? Yes. Yes, Brother Yu, Su Yao answered hastily. After some time, Pei Yuqing released his grip and the young man pulled away. Do what you have to do. Pei Yuqing waved his hand dismissively. The group of young men and women exchanged a look before they left without a backward glance. After Su Yao and the others left, Xingqian turned to Pei Yuqing in disbelief. Brother Yu, Miss Rong, do what you have to do, Pei Yuqing told Xingqian. Brother Yu, I'm sorry. I swear that I will restrain myself in the future. There won't be a second time. Xingqian pleaded anxiously. Ling, you can come back now, Pei Yuqing added. Xingqian was thrilled to hear Pei Yuqing. Brother Yu, thank you. It has nothing to do with me, Pei Yuqing replied. Xingqian naturally understood what Pei Yuqing meant. He turned to Lin Yan. Miss Lin, thank you. Lin Yan, who was still in a daze, felt as though she was in a dream. She pondered carefully and wondered why she had been so bold earlier. Why hadn't she felt afraid at all? Or was she born with guts? Lin Yan had never imagined that her plea would be so easy. It was so easy that she couldn't believe it. No matter how he looked at it, today clearly wasn't the right time. Pei Yuqing was really giving her face. End of this chapter. Chapter 701. After Su Yao, Xingqian, and the others left, Lin Yan and Pei Yuqing were the only ones left in the room. Lin Yan, who had calmed down, scratched her head awkwardly. Ahem. Mr. Pei, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have spouted nonsense. I shouldn't have interfered. How could she be possessed and say that she was the future Madame Pei? What the hell? Pei Yuqing's eyes darted to the girl. Nonsense? Miss Lin, what are you referring to? What else could she be referring to? Of course, Lin Yan was referring to the future Mrs. Pei. However, Lin Yan was about to speak when she sensed that Pei Yuqing's aura had turned colder. What was going on? Lin Yan's instinctive desire to live made her swallow her words. She waved her hands cautiously and said, No. Of course, I meant what I said earlier. I was just worried. I was worried that I might have interfered and interfered. The glint in Pei Yuqing's eyes flickered as though it had never appeared. He grinned and said, Miss Lin, don't worry. I told you that you have a good reason. Lin Yan was speechless. Pei Yuqing might have been trying to save her face in front of the others, but now he was trying to save her face. What about now? Lin Yan was in a daze. She had always thought that Pei Yuqing hadn't lost interest in her yet. She had tried her best to maintain her status as his girlfriend. She had never imagined that she could go any further. How could that be possible? Even though she didn't know much about the Pei family, she knew what it meant to be Mrs. Pei. Before Lin Yan could mull over this, Pei Yuqing suddenly said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. Lin Yan was startled. What? What did he mean by offending her? Pei Yuqing's eyes trailed to her lips. At that moment, Lin Yan could still feel the lingering sensation of his invasion on her lips. Lin Yan finally understood what he was talking about when she noticed his gaze. She coughed and said, No, it's fine. It's fine. I came in without permission and disturbed your rest. Pei Yuqing seemed to be very alert, so he hadn't been fully awake. To prove that she didn't mind, she added, Besides, we're a couple. Why should I apologize? I didn't offend you at all. It's a matter of course for me to offend you. Pei Yuqing lowered his eyes and grinned. Is that so? If that's the case, I do regret it a little. Lin Yan replied, Huh? Regret what? Pei Yuqing replied, Nothing more. Lin Yan coughed violently. Lin Yan was scared out of her wits. She wanted to slap herself for talking too much. Who asked you to have such a big mouth? Pei Yuqing's smile faded. Is there anything else you want to ask me? Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she shook her head. I just hope that my impulsiveness today won't affect you. After all, Miss Rong seems to be an important person. Pei Yuqing nodded. Yeah, it's very important. Lin Yan, who was still worried, heard the man say slowly, However, nothing is more important than the future Mrs. Pei. Lin Yan was speechless. This was against the rules. Translator, Henyi Translations Editor, Henyi Translations Translator, Henyi Translations Editor, Henyi Translations, End of chapter. Chapter 702. The next morning at Cloud Manor, cats were meowing in the bedroom and the floor was covered in cat fur. The battle between the ragdoll and the orange cat had reached an epic level. Lin Yan had just opened the door and entered the room when she was stunned by the scene before her. How the hell was this still her room? Before she had left, she had tidied up the room and vacuumed up all the cat fur. How long had it been since she had left? Her clean room had completely turned into a battlefield for the two ancestors. On the floor and even on the bed, white and yellow cat fur was mixed together. Even her cute pillow was covered in cat fur. F***CK. My bag. Lin Yan looked hopeless. A few days ago, she had gritted her teeth and stomped her feet in anger. The bag that she had spent thousands of dollars on had become scrap metal. Ha ha ha. You guys are in big trouble. Pei Yutong, who had followed Lin Yan into the room, roared with laughter when he saw the scene. Pei Yutong knew better than anyone how stingy Lin Yan was. She wasn't stingy at all. She treated money as if it was her life. She was a real miser who wouldn't spare a single cent. Lin Yan could earn money, but she wouldn't be able to fork out money. If she knew how to sew, she would have bought the materials to make a new bag herself. Daddy, come to my team. I'll ask my brother to buy 10 for you. Pei Yutong grinned at the furious Lin Yan. Shut up. Lin Yan glared at Pei Yutong. Pei Yutong, who could sense the murderous intent in Lin Yan's eyes, nodded repeatedly. Okay, Daddy. No problem. Lin Yan's expression was unfriendly. She had just bought a new bag, but it had been scratched by a little brat. There were dozens of hideous scratches on it. It couldn't be used anymore. Who did this? Step forward. Lin Yan picked up the damaged bag from the floor and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. What kind of sin had she committed? Ha ha ha. Daddy, are you dumb? Can cats talk? If cats. Pei Yutong was halfway through his sentence when he sensed Lin Yan's murderous gaze. Yeah. Who did this? Step forward now. How can you be considered a good cat if you don't dare to admit what you've done? Pei Yutong shouted sternly. The orange kitten and the ragdoll quietened down and turned to look at Lin Yan. Among them, the little plushie's paw was even scratching the orange cat's chubby face. Soon, the orange kitten and ragdoll strode over to Lin Yan and rubbed their bodies against her legs. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up into a sneer. It's useless. I won't fall for your tricks. Meow, Little orange kitten resembled a pitiful little vixen as it gazed at Lin Yen with its round eyes and whimpered coquettishly. Lin Yen fell silent for a few seconds. Then she squatted down and stroked the kitten's fur furiously. "Oh my God, mommy's little baby, little cutie, little sweetheart, quick, let mommy kiss you, mommy knows it's definitely not you." Lin Yen pressed her face against the orange kitten's body and rubbed her face against it for a long time. Pei Yutong was speechless. Soon Lin Yen turned to the little plushie. "You must be the one who scratched mommy's bag, right?" Although this plushie was a female cat, her beauty was off the charts. She looked like a noble little princess, but her temper was particularly bad. She was simply a little tigress. She liked to pick a fight with Xiaoxi whenever she had nothing to do. Lin Yen reckoned that it was most likely the culprit. End of this chapter. Chapter 703. Lin Yen glanced at the ragdoll. "You must be the one who scratched mommy's bag, right?" Although this plushie was a female cat, her beauty was off the charts. She looked like a noble little princess, but her temper was particularly bad. She was simply a little tigress. She liked to pick a fight with Xiaoxi whenever she had nothing to do. Lin Yen reckoned that it had to be the culprit. Lin Yan's heart bled as she stared at the bag she had spent a fortune on. However, before she went out, she clearly locked the two cats in their respective cat cages. How did the two cats run out of the cages in such a short time? Lin Yen stared at the ragdoll. "It must be you. Brother is so adorable. You would never do such a thing." The ragdoll was speechless. Pei Yutong was speechless. She hadn't even verified it yet she was so sure that little Million was the culprit. Wasn't she being too biased? Pei Yutong's face was filled with sorrow, which reminded him of his father. Big brother and second brother were that orange kitten, while he was that ragdoll. It's useless even if you deny it. "I have a surveillance camera." Lin Yen sneered coldly. Lin Yen whipped out her phone and turned on the surveillance camera. Ever since she had placed the two cats in her room, Lin Yen had bought a portable surveillance robot online. It was mainly used to monitor Prosperous and Rich Bag's meals when she wasn't around. Lin Yen connected her phone to the surveillance robot's Bluetooth system and played the video. Pei Yutong leaned over and stared at the video on Lin Yan's phone. In the video, the two cats were locked in separate cages. Before long, the ragdoll taunted the orange kitten. The plushie reached its paw out of the cage and opened the door with ease. The ragdoll leaped onto Lin Yan's desk and played with her new bag like a toy. When it was tired of it, it slammed the bag on the floor. The ragdoll strode to the orange kitten's cage and taunted it repeatedly. The ragdoll seemed to know that the orange kitten couldn't threaten it in the cage. It extended its claws and slapped the orange kitten's face repeatedly. Finally, the orange cat became impatient and also tried to retaliate with his paw. However, unfortunately, the orange cat's paw accidentally flipped over the iron bars and opened the cage door. After the orange tabby's cage was opened, the two cats were stunned for a few seconds. Then, the little ragdoll that had been provoking them turned around and ran away. The orange cat angrily roared, then quickly chased after it, riding on the little ragdoll's back and rubbing it against the ground. However, even if the little ragdoll couldn't win, it still persisted in provoking the little orange cat. It was really annoying. Lin Yen was speechless. Pei Yutong replied, F***CK. Who would have thought that little Wan Wan was the real culprit? He's obviously so good looking, but he's actually such a hooligan. Lin Yen was so angry that she could see stars. She glared at the doll and yelled, "Sweater, scarf, silk blanket and now bag. It's only been a few days and you've already wasted so much of my stuff. Bastard. I'll fight it out with you." Lin Yen reached out to teach the puppet a lesson. Pei Yutong hurriedly said, "Daddy, stop." "Absolutely not." Without giving Lin Yen a chance to speak, Pei Yutong clicked on his phone. "Why can't I? You need to be taught a lesson for being so mischievous. Do you think that you can do whatever you want just because you're good looking?" Lin Yen retorted. Pei Yutong passed his phone to Lin Yen. Price list of Ragdoll Cat Super Champion. Ragdoll Cat's price, 80,000 to 150,000. Champion Ragdoll Cat's price, 30,000 to 60,000. Better Ragdoll Cat's price, more than 20,000. Lin Yan's hand froze in midair. Chapter 704. That's so expensive. Lin Yen was dumbfounded. It's worth more than a dozen new bags. No. Daddy, you're wrong. It's 5 to 70 bags. Pei Yutong fixed his eyes on Lin Yen and corrected her. What? 5 to 70 bags? Lin Yen was in disbelief. Pei Yutong grinned. Daddy, my ex-girlfriend had a few ragdoll kittens before. I can tell you with absolute certainty that this ragdoll has at least a super bloodline. It must be an elite one. You might not even be able to buy it with 150,000 yuan. Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan lowered her hand quietly and picked up the torn bag. She placed it in front of the ragdoll. Come on, baby. Grab as much as you want. She might not be able to do whatever she wanted because she was pretty, however, she could be expensive. Pei Yutong was speechless. Lin Yan couldn't help but feel puzzled. In the past, she had adopted and rescued many stray cats. Most of them were wild cats. Occasionally, there would be some breeds that were sick or had genetic problems. Hence, they had been abandoned. She had never picked up a ragdoll before. Furthermore, it was a healthy ragdoll. The odds were as good as winning the lottery. She hadn't had much contact with ragdolls, so she didn't know much about them. She only knew that they were expensive. Pei Yutong had just told her that they were expensive. Hence the question was, who had lost this little ancestor? Pei Yuching's villa was located halfway up the mountain, and there was no one around. How had a cat that was only a few months old and had led a pampered life to such a desolate place? She didn't even know where to paste the notice to look for its owner. She could only paste some at the bus stop at the foot of the mountain. In short, it felt as though a stack of cash had grown eyes and had landed on her head. It was unbelievable. Lin Yan clutched her throbbing chest and sighed repeatedly as she stared at waste Wangguan, who continued to play with the bag. She could only think of a way to find this little ancestor's owner. Otherwise, there would be another creature in this world that would make her go bankrupt. After feeding the cat, Lin Yan made a post on Weibo. Whose little ancestor is this? Hurry up and bring it back. Don't let it continue to bully me. The accompanying photo was a photo of Xiao Wanwan, and next to it was her bag that had been scratched. She was staying with Pei Yuching now, so she couldn't reveal her address. Thus, she could only use this method to find her owner. Other than that Weibo post, Lin Yan rarely posted anything else. Most of her posts were about cats. After this Weibo post came out, many fans were amazed at the ragdoll kitten's beauty. Holy sh*t, this is too good to look at. What kind of fairy kitten is this? What's the big deal with a bag? I'll give you anything you want. Most of them were Lin Yan's haters. Moreover, the curses from below were even more numerous than before. It seemed that a very high-level charity event in the country was about to begin the annual selection of the philanthropic ambassador. Currently, Lin Shuya was the most popular candidate. Recently, there had been a lot of discussions about her on the internet. Coincidentally, Lin Yan had posted a few Weibo posts about stray cats. This gave her haters a chance to vent their anger and scold her for putting on a show. End of chapter. Chapter 705. Many clouds in the wind commented, this ragdoll must be at least at the bloodline level. It must be worth at least 50,000 yuan. Who would throw away such an expensive ragdoll? How can a stray cat be so stupid? How disgusting. I only noticed Lin Yan after watching her race. I never imagined that she would be such a person. How dare she put on a show just to attend a charity event? It's such a coincidence. The charity event has just started and Lin Yan picked up 2 cats. I'm speechless because one of them was a doll of such quality. I laughed. If she is capable enough, I'll get her to pick up another one. I'll believe her. Fat Otaku Cola commented, TSK. Is she trying to imitate Lin Shuya again? Lin Shuya is really beautiful and kind. She isn't like someone who is putting on a show. Do you think that 2 kittens can compete with Shuya's Angels Shelter? Everyone stop watching the show. Let's vote for Shuya's Angels Shelter's 6th anniversary. Lin Yan was baffled as she read the comments. She was merely trying to find the owner of the house. The owner of the precious ragdoll must have been worried that it had gone missing. These haters were really all pervasive. However, Lin Yan couldn't help but admire Lin Shuya's methods when she heard them mention Angel's Shelter. Lin Yan had established Angel's Shelter 6 years ago to adopt stray pets. However, she had been overseas and hadn't had much time to manage it. Hence, she had entrusted Angel's Shelter to Lin Shuya. Lin Yan had paid for Angel's Shelter every month. Initially, Lin Shuya had been extremely reluctant. She had never imagined that Angel's Shelter would end up in her hands. She had even become the founder of Angel's Shelter. How ironic. Others might not know, but Lin Yan was well aware that Lin Shuya didn't like animals. In fact, she despised them. However, now she had created an image of herself as a kind and beautiful angel who loved animals. If Lin Yan had been in the audience, she would have applauded Lin Shuya. She deserved the title of Best Actress. Before long, Lin Yin realized that Lin Shuya's post had become the top trending topic. Angel Shelter's 6th anniversary is dedicated to their beloved pets. Lin Yin clicked on the post. When she saw those emotional words, she almost vomited. That was way too mushy. Goosebumps rose all over his body. Most of the comments were praising Lin Shuya, but there were also a few who criticized Lin Yin. They claimed that Lin Yin was putting on a show just to attend the charity event. At this moment, in the office of a certain company, Lin Shuya stood in front of the huge floor-to-ceiling window and looked down at the scenery outside. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly. Sister Shuya, it's already the top search engine. Lin Shuya's assistant stepped forward and spoke to her. Lin Shuya nodded and fell silent for a moment. Did anyone vote for Lin Yin? The assistant glanced at the results and shook her head. Sister Shuya, there are only a few votes. It's impossible to enter the charity banquet with just these votes. Those who were able to attend the charity gala were mostly high-ranking celebrities from various industries and had done a certain amount of good deeds. These people had basically been pre-invited. Apart from these people, there was an extremely small group of people who were not qualified to attend the charity gala. The netizens could vote for them, and if they had enough votes, they would be given the right to attend the charity gala. Chapter 706. Lin Shuya, on the other hand, had already been invited to the charity event because of Angel's Shelter. There was no need for a vote. Moreover, those who were voted into the charity gala were basically passers-by who had no right to speak. They could only be considered to have gone there to broaden their horizons. Lin Yin, on the other hand, wasn't eligible to attend the charity event. She would have to go through a large number of votes if she wanted to enter. Let Lin Yin attend the charity event? Lin Shuya glanced at her assistant with a smile. Lin Shuya's assistant was taken aback. She stared at Lin Shuya with a puzzled expression on her face. Sister Shuya, did I hear wrongly? Did you just say that you want Lin Yin to attend the charity event? You heard me right. That's what I said. Lin Shuya smiled. The assistant frowned slightly. Sister Shuya, why are you letting that woman attend the charity event? Does she deserve it? Lin Shuya glanced at her assistant. Do as I say. The assistant was silent for a moment. Sister Shuya, even if we listen to you, we aren't familiar with the president of this year's banquet. It won't be easy to find someone to enter the banquet. Of course it's not easy. Lin Shuya replied calmly, the organizer this time is very powerful. I heard that he isn't easy to get along with. How are we going to get her to attend the charity event? The assistant was puzzled. Get someone to help Lin Yin increase her votes, replied Lin Shuya. Sister Shuya, I understand. I will get it done. Although the assistant didn't understand Lin Shuya's actions, she couldn't say anything else. She could only do as she was told. After her assistant left, Lin Shuya stared out the window and sneered coldly. Sis, don't disappoint me. I've helped you so much, so you have to go. She wanted Lin Yin to witness with her own eyes how Angel's Shelter, which she had founded, would fall into her hands. Furthermore, she would have to make Lin Yin witness how she would use Angel's Shelter to become the next president of the charity organization. That wouldn't be a good feeling. In the eyes of the public, the founder of Angel's Shelter was Lin Shuya. It couldn't be anyone else. At the charity event, everyone would praise her and Angel's Shelter. Lin Yin, on the other hand, would become a clown in the eyes of others. What would people think of her? In order to enter the charity banquet, she did not hesitate to put on a show online. Every time she thought about this, she would find it interesting. However, if Lin Yin didn't go, she would lose a source of entertainment. Sister Shuya? At that moment, a young man in a racing team uniform walked into the office expressionlessly. How's the Aurora team? Lin Shuya looked at the young man. Sister Shuya, we have completed the transaction. We are now the biggest investor in the Aurora team. We have acquired 31% of the team's shares, the young man said. 31%? Lin Shuya glanced at the young man. Is that the highest? The young man nodded. Yes, Sister Shuya. Hidinkuin is only willing to offer 31% of the shares. Lin Shuya fell into deep thought. She had originally intended to take control of the Aurora team. However, if she wanted to become the biggest shareholder of the team, she would need at least 51% of the shares. Chapter 707. However, 31% wasn't Lin Shuya's ultimate goal. Who else has shares in Aurora? Lin Shuya glanced at the young man. Sister Shuya, it's hard to say. However, when Aurora was still the He family team, He Dinkuan's eldest son He Xiong held some shares, the young man replied after some thought. The corners of Lin Shuya's mouth curled upwards. If it was He Xiong, it would be easy to deal with him. I got it. You can go ahead, replied Lin Shuya. All right, Shuya. Call me if you need anything. The young man turned around and left. Lin Shuya scrolled through her phone for some time before she dialed a number. Who is it? He Xiong's voice was heard. Uncle, it's me. Lin Shuya chuckled softly. Lin Shuya? He Xiong seemed to recognize Lin Shuya's voice as he was taken aback. He hadn't expected that Lin Shuya would call him. Lin Shuya, it's rare for you to call me. I wouldn't dare to call you uncle. He Xiong sneered coldly. Uncle, what are you talking about? You're my uncle, and that will never change, replied Lin Shuya. Lin Shuya, you and your sister are jackals of the same tribe. Haven't you caused enough harm to us? He Xiong bellowed angrily. Uncle, I'm different from sister. I know that she did something wrong and caused you and cousin Mingkai to suffer. Now the He family team is gone. It's been renamed the Aurora team. Uncle, I'm here to help you, said Lin Shuya. Help me? He Xiong sounded odd. Uncle, I won't beat around the bush. Do you have shares in the He family team, which is now called Aurora? Lin Shuya cut to the chase. Of course I do. What? Why are you asking? He Xiong sounded wary and suspicious. Uncle, I'll be frank with you. My team has acquired a portion of Aurora's shares. If you're willing to transfer your shares to me, I'll be the biggest shareholder of Aurora. I'll be able to control Aurora, replied Lin Shuya. He Xiong roared with laughter. Lin Shuya, is there something wrong with your brain or is there something wrong with me? You want to take the shares from my hands? Dream on. Lin Shuya didn't panic in the face of He Xiong's unfriendly tone. Instead, she chuckled and said, Uncle, you don't have to be so hostile towards me. I've already said that I'm completely different from my sister. As long as you transfer your shares to me, I'll pay double the price. Moreover, Uncle, you will be the person in charge of the Aurora Battle Squad. When that time comes, Uncle and I will manage the Aurora Battle Squad together. In the Aurora Battle Squad, other than me, Uncle, you are the one in charge. On the other end of the line, He Xiong fell silent. To Lin Shuya, even if He Xiong rejected her offer, she could still think of other ways to purchase the shares. 10 seconds later, He Xiong asked curiously, Lin Shuya, are you kidding me? Are you that kind? Buying the shares at double the price and making him the person in charge of the Aurora team. What good would that do for her? Uncle, can you tell me how many shares you have? Asked Lin Shuya. 20%, replied He Xiong. Lin Shuya's eyes lit up. Chapter 708. Uncle, why don't you come to my company when you have the time? We can discuss this in detail. If you don't believe me, we can sign a contract first. Other than paying double the price, we can also sign a contract for the position of the person in charge, Lin Shuya said softly. As long as He Xiong was willing, the Aurora team would fall into her hands. She wanted to see what Lin Yan could do in her hands. Lin Shuya, are you serious or are you just joking? I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. He Xiong said. Uncle, what I said isn't important. What's important is the contract. Am I right? Lin Shuya smiled. A moment later, He Xiong's voice was heard. Send me the address, I'll go take a look. 2 hours later, He Xiong looked at the signed contracts in Lin Shuya's office. He was still in disbelief. Dad, I told you that Shuya is different from that SL*T. He Mingkai's eyes gleamed with excitement. Shuya, I misunderstood you, He Xiong said to Lin Shuya. Lin Shuya shook her head. Uncle, don't say that. We are a family. He Xiong looked at the contract. After the shares were transferred, Lin Shuya would be the biggest shareholder of the Aurora team. At that time, he would be the person in charge. Even the old master, He Dinkuan, wouldn't be able to stop him. Cloud Manor Lin Yan was playing with the cat when she heard a voice outside. Miss Lin Yan, are you there? Lin Yan was startled to hear Xing Chen's voice. She got up, put on her slippers and opened the door. As expected, Xing Chen was standing outside the door with a face full of smiles. Xing Chen, what's wrong? Lin Yan glanced at Xing Chen looking puzzled. Miss Lin Yan, I'm here to thank you. Also, there's someone you should get to know, Xing Chen replied. As soon as Xing Chen finished speaking, the girl walked out from the side. The girl was wearing a white business suit, and her long black hair was tied up to her waist. Her face was cold and her temperament was extraordinary. Lin Yan glanced at the girl with a puzzled expression. She didn't know this girl and had never seen her before. Sister-in-law, The girl glanced at Lin Yan with a blush on her cold, aloof face. Lin Yan was dumbfounded by the way the girl had addressed her. Was this the girl named Lingyu? Miss Lin Yan, this is... Xing Chen stared at Lin Yan and was about to introduce her to him when the girl glanced at him in displeasure. I'll do it myself. Xing Chen scratched his head and said, all right, tell me yourself. Sister-in-law, hello. My name is Lingyu. I'm Brother Yu's subordinate. Lingyu glanced at Lin Yan. Hi. Lin Yan hurried forward to shake the girl's hand. She had guessed correctly. Xing Chen had indeed brought Lingyu. No wonder Xing Chen was so hell-bent on this girl called Lingyu. She was very beautiful and had a very cold temperament. Her aura was also very strong. She was simply an ice goddess that no one dared to approach. Sister-in-law. Thank you. You're my benefactor. Lingyu gazed at Lin Yan, blushing again. Miss Lin Yan, Lingyu has never thanked anyone or addressed anyone as her sister-in-law. She doesn't have many friends either, so this is her first time, so she might be a little shy. Xing Chen explained awkwardly. Xing Chen, shut up. Lingyu frowned. Chapter 709. All right. I'll stop talking. You go ahead. Xing Chen chuckled softly at Lingyu and plopped down on the couch beside Lin Yan. Sister-in-law, can I call you that? Lingyu's eyes roamed over Lin Yan as she asked softly. Lin Yan felt a little conflicted. She really didn't deserve to be called sister-in-law. She had already declared that she was the future Mrs. Page in front of so many people. It would be too pretentious of her to say no now. Hence, Lin Yan had no choice but to bite the bullet. Ahem. Yes, of course. Sister-in-law, I heard from Xing Chen. If it hadn't been for you, I might never have been able to return to the Pei family. Lingyu's eyes were filled with gratitude as she gazed at Lin Yan. Lin Yan was puzzled when she heard Lingyu. What was so good about the Pei family? Or was it that important to Lingyu? As for the job, if you can't do it, you can just find another one. Why do you have to suffer like this and suffer like this? If Lin Yan's job wasn't profitable or she wasn't happy, she would fire the boss without hesitation. Of course, if he could earn a lot of money, he could endure a little bit of anger. It didn't matter too much. I still don't know how to address you. Lin Yan grinned at Lingyu. Sister-in-law, I'm Lingyu. You can call me Xiaoya, replied Lingyu. Xiaoya, I didn't do much. Besides, I promised Xing Chen, so there's no need to thank me. Lin Yan nodded. Miss Lin, no matter what, you're our benefactor. We will definitely repay you, Xing Chen told Lin Yan solemnly. Before Lin Yan could reply, Xing Chen added, Miss Lin, don't stand on ceremony. If you need anything, just tell Lingyu and I. We will do our best to satisfy you. What do you need? Lin Yan rested her chin on her hand as she pondered. She didn't seem to need anything. Don't worry. Lin Yan shook her head. Miss Lin, you really don't have to stand on ceremony with us. What are you interested in? Asked Xing Chen. Do I really have to tell you? Lin Yan hesitated. Yeah. Xing Chen nodded. Money. Lin Yan stared at Xing Chen intently. Xing Chen's smile froze on his face when he heard Lin Yan. Xing Chen glanced at Lingyu before he turned to Lin Yan solemnly. Miss Lin, money is just a worldly possession. You can't bring it with you when you're alive or when you're dead. I don't think you're that kind of person, so... Before Xing Chen could finish, Lin Yan hastily shook her head and quipped, No. I'm an ordinary person. I'm very ordinary. Xing Chen stared at Lin Yan in silence for a few seconds before he turned to Lingyu. Xiaoya, I just remembered that Qin Huan wants to hold a banquet for you. He has already booked a hotel and it's getting late. Didn't you say that Qin Huan had a mission out of town and would only be back in a few days? Lingyu asked. Xing Chen. Lin Yan was speechless. Let's not disturb Miss Lin's rest. We'll come back later, Xing Chen said. Shut up. Can you stop being so stingy? Lingyu furrowed her eyebrows. Oh. Xing Chen tactfully shut his mouth. Sister-in-law. Lingyu's eyes darted back to Lin Yan as she asked eagerly, Sister-in-law, can I stay by your side? I can help you earn money. Chapter 710. Lin Yan was startled when she heard Lingyu. Lingyu wanted to stay by her side? She even said that she could help her earn money? Sister-in-law, brother, you said that if you're willing, I can stay by your side. Do you need a bodyguard? Lingyu gazed at Lin Yan expectantly. Huh. Lin Yan was dumbfounded. She didn't need a bodyguard, right? She wasn't bragging. If she really wanted to fight, even a few strong men wouldn't be able to get close to her. Lin Yan had wanted to find a part-time job as a bodyguard, so she believed that she had the ability to become a private bodyguard. Miss Ling Yu is very strong and insane, Xing Chen quipped. Ling Yu glanced at Xing Chen. Who are you calling insane? Xing Chen hastily replied, that's not what I meant. I mean your skills are insane. Xiaoya, I don't think I need a bodyguard. Lin Yin grinned awkwardly. What about a nanny? Ling Yu pondered for a moment before she pressed on. Lin Yin was speechless. She had been a bodyguard a moment ago, and now she had become a nanny. Wasn't this a huge leap in her career? Sister-in-law, if you don't need a nanny, an assistant is fine too. Oh yeah, aren't you an idol actress? I can be your assistant or manager, Ling Yu replied. Hold on. Lin Yin interrupted Ling Yu and shook her head. I'm not an idol actress. Then you are a capable actress, replied Lin Yin. Miss Lin, let Ling Yu stay by your side. Brother Yu has already agreed. We're just waiting for your decision, replied Xing Chen. Lin Yin pondered for a long time before she nodded. All right then. Since Pei Yuqing had spoken, Lin Yin didn't have any other choice. Besides, Ling Yu seemed cold and aloof, but she was too warm and friendly to her. Lin Yin had no choice but to accept her kindness. Xing Chen, this is none of your business. You can leave now. Ling Yu asked Xing Chen to leave quickly. Xing Chen was speechless. Xing Chen rubbed his nose and left. After Xing Chen left, only Lin Yin and Ling Yu were left in the room. Sister-in-law, I have a rough understanding of your situation. Before I came, I searched for a lot of information about you on the internet, Ling Yu said softly. Lin Yin was taken aback. Was he that professional? Before Lin Yin could reply, Ling Yu retrieved a notebook and flipped through it. Sister-in-law, Lin Shuya is your enemy, right? Do you want to take revenge on her? Lin Yin glanced at Ling Yu in surprise. She knew about Lin Shuya? What kind of devastating revenge? Asked Lin Yin curiously. Anything is fine. For example, vanishing from the world, Ling Yu said solemnly. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Was she serious? Of course, if you don't want to vent your anger, we can pay her back in her own coin. We can hire a huge army to slander her. I'm very familiar with what's going on online. In fact, I'm very familiar with the entire entertainment industry, said Ling Yu after pondering for a moment. Without giving Lin Yan a chance to speak, Ling Yu turned on Lin Yan's computer and clicked on her Weibo page. Sister-in-law, you have a lot of votes for the charity ambassador election, Ling Yu told Lin Yan. Lin Yan strode forward and glanced at the screen. As expected, there were votes for this year's charity ambassador election on Weibo. Her votes were indeed heaven-defying. Chapter 7:11. Lin Yan studied Ling Yu curiously. This girl didn't seem to be as simple as she looked. Ling Yu, are you familiar with the industry? Asked Lin Yan. Ling Yu nodded and replied, yes, sister-in-law. Have you heard of Summit Entertainment? Lin Yan was startled. Of course she had heard of Summit Entertainment. She had signed a contract with Summit Entertainment not long ago, so she was considered an artist of Summit Entertainment. Yes, I have. Lin Yan nodded repeatedly. Sister-in-law, actually, I was the person in charge of Summit Entertainment in the beginning. Oh yeah, I used to have another name. It was I, replied Ling Yu. Lin Yan stood rooted to the ground in shock when she heard Ling Yu. What had she said? She was I? If Summit Entertainment had the status it had today, the mastermind behind the scenes, I had played a huge role. It could be said that I had single-handedly propped up Summit Entertainment and brought it to its current position as the leader of the industry. However, AY had a lot of criticism in the industry. Actually, only a few people knew of I's existence. However, she had been the soul and core of Summit Entertainment back then. However, I's reputation hadn't been very good. She had been too ruthless and vicious, so even though Summit Entertainment had been at its peak, it had been hated by many other entertainment companies. In fact, many international Best Actress and Best Actor kings had also fallen at the hands of AY. As long as someone had offended I, she would send them into the abyss and they would never be able to reincarnate. Lin Yan had never imagined that the girl before her would be I, the demoness who had ruled over half of the entertainment industry. However, for some unknown reason, I had left Summit Entertainment and vanished without a trace. She had never been seen again. So, she had offended Miss Rong. Judging by Lin Yan's expression, Ling Yu knew that Lin Yan had heard of I. Ling Yu chuckled softly and said, Sister-in-law, I was only managing the entertainment company. However, I offended some people and was forced to leave the Pei family. Thank you, sister-in-law, for allowing me to come back. Lin Yan couldn't help but sigh. Who had she offended? Ling Yu stared at the computer screen and said, Sister-in-law, I did some calculations. Based on your popularity, it's impossible for you to get so many votes. I think that someone purposely gave you a lot of votes so that you could attend the charity event. Lin Yin couldn't deny this. Given her popularity, it would be normal for her to vote for the most evil actor in the entertainment industry. However, the votes for the charity event, if someone had purposely given her so many tickets, who could it be? Ordinary netizens definitely didn't have that kind of ability. Sister-in-law, the charity event is a good opportunity for you to improve yourself. You can also make friends. I think you should attend, Ling Yu told Lin Yin. Previously, Lin Yin hadn't thought about attending the charity gala. Her angel's shelter had been snatched away by Lin Shuya, which meant that Lin Shuya had gotten the slot instead. She hadn't expected that her votes would increase by so much. This ticket, Lin Yin fell into deep thought. Had Lin Shuya done this? Chapter 7:12. Others might not understand Lin Shuya, but Lin Yin knew her very well. Given Lin Shuya's personality, it would be boring if she couldn't attend the charity event and witness Lin Shuya's awe-inspiring performance. Angel's shelter was supposed to be hers. If Lin Shuya had gotten the tickets for her, Lin Yin would be able to understand and explain everything. Lin Shuya was just trying to disgust her and make her suffer. Sister-in-law, the chairman of this year's event is someone with a powerful background. If you can get to know him, it will be beneficial to you. Ling Yu analyzed the situation for Lin Yin. Lin Yin was speechless. No wonder she had thought that Ling Yu was too professional. There was a reason why she was so professional. She was the boss of Summit Entertainment and the mastermind behind the scenes, Amy. Never in her wildest dreams had Lin Yin imagined that Amy would become her assistant. Hence, she had stumbled upon a treasure. She leaped onto the somersault cloud in an instant. I suspect that Lin Shuya was the one who obtained the tickets, Lin Yin said thoughtfully. Ling Yu wasn't surprised at all. She grinned and said, if that's the case. Sister-in-law, you were the one who founded Angel's Shelter, right? Lin Yin was dumbfounded when she heard Ling Yu. How could Ling Yu know about Angel's Shelter? How did you know? Lin Yin was puzzled. I don't know. Ling Yu shook her head. It's just a guess. Lin Shuya has a grudge against you, so there's no reason for her to give you the right to attend the banquet. Unless she wants to make you feel uncomfortable and humiliated in front of everyone, she can only rely on Angel's Shelter to enter the charity event. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility that Lin Shuya might find her conscience. However, the chances of that happening are too low. Lin Yin was speechless. What kind of brain was that? Perhaps I'm just like what the rumors say. Lin Yin chuckled softly. Ling Yu shook her head. Sister-in-law, you're not that kind of person. You have brother you. Unless you're blind, you wouldn't try to snatch Lin Shuya's fiancée. Besides, you're the future madam of the Pei family. Summit Entertainment belongs to you, so what reason do you have to go around and snatch Lin Shuya's things? Lin Yin had to admit that Amy lived up to her reputation. Even so, Angel's home might not have anything to do with me. What do you think? Lin Yin was still curious. Ling Yu thought for a while and said, well, it's very simple. First of all, sister-in-law, you like small animals. As she spoke, Ling Yu's gaze shifted to the 2 cat cages in the house. I heard from Xingqian that sister-in-law adopted 2 stray cats. Ling Yu pressed on. Lin Shuya, on the other hand, went around framing your sister-in-law. She lied through her teeth and slandered you. She even pretended to be pitiful and aggrieved. Given her character, it's impossible to say that she is kind and compassionate. Even before she became a public figure, she spent a huge amount of money to establish Angel's Shelter. I think that's a fantasy. Lin Yin gave Ling Yu a thumbs up. Ling Yu was indeed impressive. She had been able to deduce so many things with just a few clues. She was indeed capable. Chapter 7:13. Also, not long ago, I used my previous network to look up some information about sister-in-law. According to the information, sister-in-law, you adopted some small animals many years ago, and then you went abroad. After connecting the dots, I concluded that you were the one who founded Angel's Shelter. After you left the country, you handed Angel's Shelter over to Lin Shuya. Given Lin Shuya's character, she would definitely use Angel's Shelter to boost her own popularity after she became a public figure. There was no way she would admit that Angel's Shelter belonged to you. Ling Yu continued her analysis. Are you the Pei family strategist? Lin Yin studied Ling Yu in astonishment. Ling Yu, who was taken aback, shook her head and replied softly, Sister-in-law, you think too highly of me. The Pei family isn't as simple as you think. Actually, the Pei family was very complicated, and they had a huge network of connections. Even Brother Yu and Brother Yu's father were just part of the Pei family. There are many experts in the Pei family and there are many smart people. I'm insignificant and stupid. Lin Yin was dumbfounded. What had she just said? She was stupid? Lin Yin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She was the demoness who had dominated the entertainment industry in the past. How could she be insignificant? Sister-in-law, do you want to know more about the Pei family? If you do, I can tell you, Ling Yu said gently, looking hopeful. She seemed to be hoping that she could help Lin Yin in some way. Lin Yin fell silent for a moment before she nodded. I don't know much about the Pei family. Sister-in-law, there are many people in the Pei family and they belong to different factions. Brother Yu and his father belong to the same faction. Brother Yu's father also has many siblings, and they are divided into different factions. Actually, it's hard for me to explain. It's a little complicated. For example, Brother Yu's uncle and aunt have children who are very powerful. They all want to enter the core circle of the Pei family, including Brother Yu. However, Brother Yu is very outstanding, so many people ostracize him. Some even want to kill him. Lin Yin propped her chin on her hand and listened quietly. After some time she finally got a rough idea. Pei Yuqing's grandfather had many children and grandchildren. These people, including Pei Yuqing, had wanted to enter the core circle of the Pei family but had failed. Pei Yuqing was outstanding, so he had a high chance of entering the core circle. Once he entered the core circle, his status would rise tremendously. Hence, some people didn't want Pei Yuqing to enter the core circle of the Pei family. They had tried to frame Pei Yuqing and even tried to kill him. Because of those people, Pei Yuqing and his father had drifted apart. Even Pei Yuqing's grandfather had begun to suspect that Pei Yuqing's motives were impure. Thus, he had exiled Pei Yuqing to the capital city. Lin Yin was in disbelief. She had never imagined that the Pei family would have such a complicated network. At that moment, Lin Yin suddenly felt that Pei Yuqing was quite pitiful. He was too outstanding, but he had been targeted everywhere. As a result, his relationship with his father had drifted apart, and his grandfather hadn't trusted him. He had even been exiled by the Pei family. Sister-in-law, actually, you look like someone I have met before. Ling Yu suddenly interrupted Lin Yan's thoughts. Chapter 7:14. Lin Yan's curiosity was piqued. Who is it? Ling Yu stared at Lin Yan's face and hesitated. In the end she shook her head. Ahem. Nothing. Just an old friend. Oh yes, sister-in-law. Ahem. Hold on. How about we change the way we address each other? After all, my relationship with Brother Yu isn't public, explained Lin Yan. Ling Yu nodded in agreement. Artists do have to be mindful of their privacy to avoid unnecessary trouble. Ling Yu deliberated for a moment before replying, then I shall call you Sister Yan. Sister Yan, do you have any plans for the charity ambassador election? Lin Shuya deliberately voted for you and forced you to attend the charity banquet. She clearly wants you to witness how she's going to take over the things that belong to you. Ling Yu had finally changed the way she addressed Lin Yan, which made her feel more at ease. She shrugged and looked as though she had nothing to do with it. I'm not interested in being a charity ambassador. If I have the time, I should get more jobs and earn more money to buy dried fish for Cici and Wanwan. She had founded Angel's Shelter to provide a home for stray animals. She hadn't done it for the glory or the title. Ling Yu, who seemed to have predicted Lin Yan's answer, sighed helplessly. Who would have thought that Lin Yan, who had been plagued by scandals and dreams of getting rich, would actually donate so much money to charity? Lin Yan coughed softly when she noticed that Ling Yu was staring at her. She felt a little uneasy. What's wrong? Ling Yu looked at her with admiration. I just think that Brother Yu has good taste. No wonder he likes you so much. Lin Yan was speechless. This was the first time someone had praised him for having good taste. To promote the annual charity gala, the China Charity Foundation had invited the previous national philanthropic ambassador, Gu Xinhan, and this year's most popular candidate, Lin Shuya, to shoot a music video and a poster. Early the next morning, Lin Shuya and her manager rushed to the studio to prepare for the shoot. On the way, Gu Xinhan's manager flipped through the schedule for today's shoot. When she confirmed that only Lin Shuya would be appearing in the same frame as Gu Xinhan, her manager smiled at Lin Shuya. Shuya, the charity foundation has only arranged for you and Gu Xinhan to film today. It seems like you will be the new charity ambassador this year. For the previous philanthropic ambassador to appear in the same frame at such a critical moment in the selection, the meaning behind it was self-evident. Lin Shuya glanced at the scenery outside the window as a faint smile appeared on her exquisite face. It's just a music video and a poster. The selection isn't over yet, so nothing has been decided. How could it be undecided? Your votes are way ahead of the rest of the celebrities. I guess the headquarters have already recognized you as the charity angel. Otherwise, why would they invite Gu Xinhan to film the promotional video with you? Shia, you're too humble. Didn't you see the discussions online? Everyone thinks that you deserve to be the philanthropic ambassador this year, her manager said with a smile. Chapter 7:15. Given Lin Shuya's current status, money was no longer of any value to her. If she wanted to climb up the social ladder, she would need a good reputation and influence. The charity ambassador selection competition was the perfect opportunity to do so. Both the public and society would be more than willing to cast their eyes on an artist who was passionate about charity. Lin Shuya's commercial value would also soar. It's just a discussion. It doesn't count. Lin Shuya smiled faintly as though she wasn't bothered by it at all. However, there was a glint in her eyes that made her look even more indifferent. Why doesn't it count? The selection of the charity ambassador depends on the votes of the public. You established Angel's Shelter when you were in your teens, so your achievements are well known. On the other hand, your sister, Lin Yan, made a last-minute effort to compete for the title of the philanthropic ambassador. When she saw that you had established Angel's Shelter, she made a last-minute effort to imitate you. She even got an expensive ragdoll to put on a show. What a joke. Did she really think that charity was that easy? You have no idea how badly the netizens are scolding her. She doesn't even know how to use her brain to put on a show. Lin Yan's manager chuckled. Her manager was amused by the scolding that Lin Yan had posted on Weibo. They were sisters, but why was there such a huge disparity between them? Lin Yan was trying to imitate Lin Shuya. She had shamelessly claimed that Han Yishuan was her boyfriend, but now she was acting like a clown. Why didn't she take a look at herself first? How could she pretend to be a philanthropist overnight? Lin Shuya had established Angel's Shelter before she had entered the entertainment industry. She had dedicated her life to it for many years, not for fame or profit. When Lin Shuya heard her manager's sarcasm, her eyes gleamed with amusement. However, she looked as though she had been put in a spot. Don't say that. She is my sister after all. Lin Shuya sighed heavily as she tried to suppress her emotions. Lin Shuya's manager, who noticed that Lin Shuya still cared about her sisterly ties, remarked, "Shuya, you're too kind. Why did you vote for Lin Yan? All the contestants are trying their best to get votes. You're the only one who was kind enough to give her your vote. If it weren't for you, she wouldn't even have qualified." Lin Shuya laughed bitterly and didn't say anything. She turned her head slightly and pretended to look at the scenery outside the window. A smile gradually appeared in her eyes, tearing apart her previous facade of indifference and helplessness. She hadn't expected that the mess Lin Yan had thrown at her would help her so much. When she had just started her career, her identity as the founder of Angel's Shelter had brought her a lot of glory and convenience. She had gained a good reputation and gained popularity. She had been crowned the national angel. He had thought that this was the last value of Angel's Shelter. Little did he expect. Now, with this identity, she had managed to squeeze her way into the charity circle that was hard to enter. She had even obtained the title of philanthropy ambassador, something that countless celebrities had fought so hard to obtain. Just the fact that she was a member of Angel's Shelter was enough for her to crush all the other celebrities and garner a large number of votes. She was far ahead in terms of votes. Furthermore, the charity foundation had arranged for her to collaborate with Gu Xinhan. It seemed like she would definitely be the philanthropy ambassador. End of this chapter. Chapter 7:16. The director and cameraman were busy directing the crew to set up the set. There were many cats and dogs that had been brought over from Angel's Shelter to interact with the actors. Gu Xinhan had already arrived. She was surrounded by a group of cats and dogs, and it was a lively scene. "Sister Han? Shuya, you're here." Gu Xinhan was carrying a kitten in her arms as she greeted Lin Shuya with a smile. Gu Xinhan's looks weren't eye-catching among the other actresses, but she had a gentle aura that made her seem approachable. The kitten in her arms was a little mischievous. It wasn't very cooperative as it struggled to move its paws. "Watch!" Gu Xinhan yelped as a few red scratches appeared on the back of her hand. The director and crew crowded around her anxiously. "Xinhan, are you all right? How are you? Are you hurt? What's wrong with this cat? It's too fierce. Why didn't you choose a more obedient one?" Lin Shuya rushed over to greet her. Sister Han, are you alright? Gu Xinhan hurried to explain. I'm fine. It's just a small injury. Don't be nervous. Don't blame the kitten. I was careless and scared it. Sister Han, you're too gentle. Lin Shuya chuckled. Gu Xinhan grinned. Because they are really cute. I think everyone will be gentle in front of them. Lin Shuya's manager whispered into Lin Shuya's ear. No wonder Gu Xinhan became the charity angel last year. She really knows how to portray herself. Portray herself? What do you mean? Lin Shuya looked confused. Her manager exclaimed, Shuya, do you really think that Gu Xinhan is like what she appears to be? You're probably the only naive one. To be able to get to her position, which one of them was a simple person. She isn't like you who genuinely loves charity and doesn't care about fame and fortune. You entered the industry late, so you don't know that she was involved in a scandal many years ago. In the end, she relied on charity work to clear her name. Eventually, she became the charity angel. But Sister Han seems to really like small animals? Lin Shuya was puzzled. The manager looked helpless. No wonder Chairman Lin was worried about you and told me to take good care of you. You're just too naive. Lin Shuya hid the shrewdness in her eyes. She put on an obedient expression and didn't say anything. Soon the filming began. Because they needed the cooperation of small animals, the entire shooting was not very smooth. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was a mess. Fortunately, Gu Xinhan and Lin Shuya were very cooperative and patient. In the end, after shooting for a whole day, they finally finished shooting. Alright. Done. Xinhan, Shuya, thank you for your hard work. Very good. The director has worked hard. Everyone has worked hard as well. After filming, the crew packed up their props and left in 2s and 3s. Gu Xinhan is so gentle. Those kittens and puppies almost hurt her a few times just now. She's not even angry. Yeah. Lin Shuya too. She's so patient with animals. No wonder she's the charity angel. She's so kind. Actually, I like Lin Shuya more than Gu Xinhan. Gu Xinhan has a persona, but Lin Shuya is different. I heard that before she entered the entertainment industry, she had already started doing charity work. She really likes small animals and is passionate about charity. Chapter 717. Meanwhile, in Gu Xinhan's makeup room, Gu Xinhan was holding a kitten in her arms as she spoke to the director. It's so cute. I can't bear to part with it. Can I play with it for a while longer? Aha. There's no rush. Xinhan, you can play with it for a while longer. I'll get someone to send it back later. Thank you so much, director. Gu Xinhan replied happily. It's just a small matter. Xinhan, remove your makeup first. I won't disturb you any longer. I'm going to look at the final product. All right. The director pushed the door open and left. Only Gu Xinhan's assistant, manager, and makeup artist were left in the makeup room. The moment the director left, Gu Xinhan tossed the kitten in her arms onto the floor. It's so dirty. Hurry. Give me the disinfectant. Her assistant hurriedly handed her the disinfectant and disinfectant. Gu Xinhan wiped her hands with the disinfectant and sprayed the disinfectant on herself. She glared at the kitten and kicked it. How dare this wild kitten scratch me? Her manager comforted her softly. Xinhan, you have to suffer a little for the sake of the shoot. In any case, the effect of this MV in photo promotion is still very good. Gu Xinhan snorted coldly. If it weren't for this, do you think I would be willing to hold these filthy kittens in my arms? Hurry. Help me get this wild kitten out. What Gu Xinhan didn't know was that Lin Shuya, who was standing at the door, had witnessed the entire scene. However, Lin Shuya didn't look surprised at all. Instead, it was as if she had expected it. Her lips curved into a faint smile. Lin Shuya waited outside the door for a while before she walked in. Gu Xinhan's assistant walked out with the cat in her hand and bumped into Lin Shuya. She froze and hurriedly hugged the cat. She coughed softly and said, Sister Shuya, are you here to see Sister Han? Yeah. Is Sister Han here? Yes, she is removing her makeup. Lin Shuya nodded and pretended not to know anything as she walked into the room. Sister Han. Shuya, are you done with your filming? Gu Xinhan regained her usual gentle and courteous expression. Lin Shuya nodded. Yeah. The last scene is done. Why are you looking for me? Gu Xinhan asked. Lin Shuya placed a red gift box on Gu Xinhan's dressing table and said casually, It's nothing important. I just heard that you wanted to bid for a necklace at the auction last week. Gu Xinhan's face darkened as she recalled the necklace that had been won by another seller. She especially liked that necklace. It was a perfect match for her favorite dress. Unfortunately, she didn't have enough money at that time. In the end, it was bought by someone else. Because of this, she was depressed for a few days. However, why did she mention this? As Gu Xinhan pondered this, she noticed that Lin Shuya had placed a gift box on the table. Inside the box was the necklace that she had missed out on at the auction. Why do you have this necklace? Gu Xinhan was shocked. Lin Shuya chuckled softly. I found this necklace by chance. I heard that it was your favorite item, so I brought it here to give it to you. Chapter 7:18. For me? Gu Xinhan's eyes lit up, but she looked like she was in a difficult position. This, Shuya, it's too expensive. I can't accept it. Lin Shuya grinned. Sister Han, this necklace doesn't suit me. It would be a waste if I kept it. Only someone with your elegance is compatible with it. Why don't you give it to the person who suits it the most? Besides, it's your birthday next month. Just take it as a birthday gift from me. Sister Han, if you don't accept it, you're treating me like an outsider. Lin Shuya's words were beautiful. She had praised Gu Xinhan and given Gu Xinhan an excuse to accept the gift. As expected, Gu Xinhan finally relented. All right then, I'll accept it. Shuya, thank you. You're so thoughtful. Sister Han, you don't have to stand on ceremony with me. I still have to thank you for guiding me in the filming. It's my first time filming a music video, so I don't know anything. Luckily you helped me out. Lin Shuya looked humble. Gu Xinhan was in a good mood. She closed the necklace and grinned. Shuya, don't be so humble. If someone else were to take over my position, I might not be convinced. However, if it's you, not just me but everyone else will be convinced. I believe that everyone will be convinced by your abilities. You just lack some experience and connections. Gu Xinhan knew Lin Shuya's status. She wasn't just the daughter of Triumph Entertainment. She was also the future young madam of the Gu Corporation. Of course, she wanted to befriend her. In that case, why not make use of this opportunity? Gu Xinhan pondered for a moment before she said, Oh yes, Shuya. There's a dinner party tomorrow night. Why don't you come with me? There will be many reputable philanthropists there. President Cheng will be there too. I'll introduce her to you. Lin Shuya's eyes lit up when she heard Cheng Ximin's name. However, she pretended to be surprised. Are you referring to Cheng Ximin, the vice president of the charity association? Gu Xinhan looked smug. That's right. It's hard to meet Vice President Cheng, but I'll introduce you to her. It shouldn't be a problem. Lin Shuya's face lit up with excitement. Really? Thank you so much, Sister Han. I've always admired Vice President Cheng. It's a pity that we never had the chance to meet. Cheng Min was the daughter of Cheng Jingqiu, the president of the charity foundation. Cheng Jingqiu had dedicated her life to charity, and Cheng Min had inherited her mother's legacy. She was decisive and resolute in her actions. She had also been active in the field of charity and had taken up the position of vice president. Due to the poor health of her mother, Cheng Jingqiu, Cheng Min had now completely taken over the affairs of the charity headquarters and was now the person in charge of the charity headquarters. Lin Shuya had always wanted to get close to Cheng Min. However, it was a pity that even the big shots in the business world couldn't meet Cheng Min, let alone an artist like her. She had looked for many people to build a relationship with Cheng Ximin, but none of them succeeded. Gu Xinhan replied, I was lucky enough to get to know Vice President Cheng because I was the charity ambassador last year. Don't worry, I will bring you along. You don't have to be nervous. Besides, it's almost certain that you will be the charity ambassador this year. Lin Shuya blushed and replied humbly, there are still a few days before the voting closes. Chapter 7:19. Lin Shuya glanced at Gu Xinhan, who was beside her. She was determined to win this year's charity ambassador. Other than that, Lin Shuya also wanted to use Gu Xinhan to get in touch with the vice president. Chen Min and her mother were very famous and had a wide network of connections. Although they weren't in the industry, everyone knew who they were. Cheng Min's mother, in particular, had devoted her entire life to charity and was very famous. Lin Shuya had wanted to get to know Cheng Min, the vice president. However, she had heard that Cheng Min was difficult to get along with and hated that sort of thing. Hence, Lin Shuya hadn't acted rashly. Frankly speaking, she hadn't had the chance to get close to Cheng Min. However, things were different this time. If Gu Xinhan could introduce her to Cheng Min, it would be natural for her to get close to Cheng Min. Oh yeah, Sister Xinhan. Are you close to President Cheng Min? Lin Shuya asked Gu Xinhan with a smile on her face. Gu Xinhan nodded and replied, I can't say that we are very close. We only interact because of some charity work. President Qingmin isn't an easy person to get along with, but we are on good terms. Lin Shuya nodded thoughtfully. Shuya, don't worry. I will introduce you to her, Gu Xinhan assured her. Lin Shuya put on a smile and thanked Gu Xinhan. Cloud Manor Lin Yen had been observing her Weibo votes. Based on her current numbers, she was definitely going to attend the charity event. Other than the increase in votes, the number of criticisms had also increased. Braised Pork and Cabbage had commented, Lin Yen is too shameless. First, she created a rag doll to show off at the charity event. No one paid attention to her. Now she is trying to manipulate the votes. I don't believe that anyone will vote for Lin Yen. Who voted for her? Step forward and show us. Cute Girl in Autumns had commented, what a joke. Who would vote for her? Anyone with a discerning eye would know that the votes aren't right. I have followed several real philanthropists, but their votes aren't even a fraction of her votes. This woman is willing to do anything just to show her face at the charity event. She wants to keep up with Shuya? Stop dreaming. She's not even fit to wipe Shuya's shoes. Shuya founded Angel's Shelter before she even debuted. Everyone knows that she's beautiful and kind. She's definitely going to be the philanthropic ambassador this year. What's so great about this woman? She's nothing but a showboat. It would have been fine if she had wanted to imitate Shuya's charity work. However, she created a ragdoll as a showboat. Since her showboat didn't work, she made an issue out of the votes. Even novels wouldn't dare to write such a disgusting woman like her. Lin Yen petted the cat as she scrolled through the comments. Her black sweater was covered in white fur. Sis, should we control the comments? Ling Yu, who was scrolling through her phone, asked Lin Yen. Lin Yen snapped back to her senses and shook her head with a smile. It's fine. This is normal. I'm used to it. Nowadays, Lin Yen wouldn't be able to get used to it if someone didn't scold her. I think Lin Shuya is behind this. Ling Yu was deep in thought. Chapter 720. Lin Yen stood up and placed 1,000 bags of money and Prosperous in their respective cages. Then she used a sticky ball to remove the fur on her body. I know. Lin Yen glanced at Ling Yu and chuckled softly. Other than Lin Shuya, no one else would have done this. This is her normal behavior. Ling Yu pondered this for some time before her lips curled into a smile. Sister, actually, this is a good opportunity for you. Lin Yen nodded slightly. I understand what you mean. First of all, if she was able to enter a place like the charity gala, it would only be good for her and not bad for her. Furthermore, her reputation on the internet was already bad enough. It didn't matter how she managed to qualify for the charity gala. Even if someone splashed a bowl of ink on her, she wouldn't be as bad as she was right now. Lin Yen understood what Ling Yu meant. To put it bluntly, Angel's Shelter had nothing to do with Lin Shuya. She had founded it herself many years ago. If she could make use of this charity gala to uncover the ins and outs of Angel's Shelter, that would be the most interesting part of it all. Lin Yen had thought about this a long time ago. However, it would be difficult to prove that Lin Shuya had stolen Angel's Shelter from her. There were still a few more days before the charity event, so Lin Yen wasn't in a hurry. Lin Yen wanted to ask Ling Yu about the charity event. After all, Ling Yu had been a prominent figure in the industry, so she would definitely know more than her. However, Ling Yu suddenly retracted her gaze when Lin Yan's eyes landed on Ling Yu. Lin Yan frowned when she sensed Ling Yu's unusual behavior. In the past few days that Ling Yu had been by her side, Lin Yan had noticed that Ling Yu seemed to have something on her mind when she looked at her. Lin Yan was puzzled. Before Xing Chen had brought Ling Yu back, she hadn't had much interaction with Ling Yu. Do I have money on my face? Lin Yan asked Ling Yu. Ling Yu raised her head to look at Lin Yan. Ling Yu chuckled softly and replied, No, I just feel that you. What about me? Lin Yan was curious. Ever since the first time Ling Yu saw her, she had said that she looked like a certain someone, but she had kept her mouth shut. Ling Yu pondered for a moment before shaking her head. Impossible. Lin Yan couldn't be her. How could such a woman appear in China? How could she become Pei Yuqing's woman? That person had disappeared long ago. The greatest possibility was that he was dead. That's right, that woman in my impression is too crazy, high and mighty, and disregards everything. From the very beginning, she had been inquiring about the whereabouts of that person at every moment, every minute, and every second. But in the end, she had found nothing. She was only the most inconspicuous one among the tens of thousands of elites, and the missions she did were also the lowest of the low. In fact, he had only seen that high and mighty woman once by chance. Ling Yu could still remember the coldness and arrogance in her eyes. She was creating her ideal world. However, who would have thought that such a person would disappear many years ago? Moreover, he had never appeared in this world again. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.